Hi everybody, welcome back to Hinamizawa, where we're about to do something that we definitely should not do.
We're about to go into the ritual storeroom at 3 a.m.
Indeed.
Dudes will really see an abandoned ritual storehouse and think to themselves, tally ho.
Yeah, yep. We're getting
I
peer
think
pressured
I
as
think
fuck.
Casey was actually more like untally ho.
Yeah, no, he wants to
I
get
think
out of
Kate-
there, but like he's totally gonna get peer pressured into it.
Yeah, I don't think
My-
Katie's thinking.
My dick has led me places I wouldn't go with a gun.
I see. Anyway, Keiichi, you have the first line.
You want to show something to me?
I thought it was just a ploy, but Shion's eyes looked entirely serious. Of course, she was the sort who could lie with a straight face. Thank you for the information. Of course, I was an average boy, too. My curiosity was at least twice that of a normal person.
At least he recognizes it.
Sleeping forbidden treasures, never to leave this warehouse. Chances like this don't come around too often. If I had to choose, then I want to see! Until the locked door is open, though. I don't know about this. If you're not interested, Gei-chan, then you can leave now. I think you'll wonder about it later, though. Tomatake-san spoke after listening to our discussion, himself having sat down on the stairs to take a short rest. Now, am I taking Tomatake again, or... Guess I'm taking Tomatake again if no one else wants it.
Again?
Alright, here we go. I'll keep watch here. Going in to check it out with them. I'm not too interested. But it might be pretty interesting for a young guy like you, Keiichi-kun. He said, laughing mischievously. There was no ill will in his laughter.
Oh, it's
Nice,
obvious.
what? Come again?
You pulled a me with that one.
That was on purpose. Anyway,
Tomitake-san, do you know what's in there?
kind of. Takano-san told me all about it. Listen, you'll know when it's not on purpose because I'll be going like, fuck, damn it, shit, afterward.
I just got demonetized.
We didn't get demonetized with what GM said? Okay. Must be a pain to have... Must be a pain to have to go along with your companion's unique hobbies, huh? Tomatake-san didn't answer that, only responding with a pained smile. Takano-san had this kind of scary air about her, like she'd drop absolutely everything else for something she had an interest in and go straight for it, but... Tomatake-san, on the other hand, seemed like the gold standard of what a normal person should be. Stop
Yeah, calling your
saying
friend
that!
is normal.
Stop
Please
saying
understand.
that! Why do you keep saying that? Having him tell me
He's so normal with his thick neck.
and his fake identity, having him tell me so frankly to go check it out, suddenly made the guilt feel lighter.
Okay, but just a little. If it's not interesting, I'm leaving.
Tomatake is so normal that everyone else looks weird by comparison. You understand?
Stop! Stop! No!
Why is she on macro?
Cause she's up close to us, and they're farther
Oh,
away.
okay.
He's just larger than
You
the
got
other two.
it. Shion gave me another
Jesus
meal
Lord.
like wink.
Giantess Shion.
Alright. Yeah.
Looks like we're decided. Shall we go inside? Jiro-san will leave this to you.
Tomatake-san waved his hand to see us off. The inside was pitch black, but Takano-san turned on the battery-powered lantern she brought, revealing a pretty cramped front room.
I think that's called a flashlight.
The
I mean, I have a
battery-powered
battery-powered
lantern
lantern.
is That's not the same thing. It's so dark in here. Everyone, take care not to trip over anything. I'm
Actually called a
still trying to
torch.
figure out a voice for this guy.
Well, torch could also be... That's like the British word for flashlight.
He's just...
I appreciate the concern.
Whoops.
Okay, doorman, keep a good watch. We're shutting the door now.
Wait, did she just say door? Is this a VLR reference?
Doorman.
Takano-san
think-
smiled spitefully, as if leaving Tomatake-san out of something fun, and began to close the door. I'm sorry, you were saying-
Tomitake having to watch a door close and open in real time really is VR built.
This is a real VLR hours, boys. Man, I have to watch all these door transitions. Alright, everyone. Have fun. By the way, in
Getting
case,
door cut.
for people who don't have context on why I said
Wasn't
that...
it like an hour?
Yeah,
Like an
there
hour
is-
of total door transitions?
There's an hour total of door transitions in VLR, and all of them are unskippable until you've seen them at least once. Anyway. Man, alright everyone, have fun. There was a low, heavy, and loud noise, and we were completely cut off from the outside world, and covered in silent darkness. Takano-san's lantern was the only light we had. Why do I feel like that's a metaphor?
It'll be fine. It's an outdoor lantern with backup batteries inside. It won't go out or anything. I'm Squidward.
Why did you turn into
What?
Squidward?
Takano actually said that. It's in the subtitles.
Oh, okay.
in the subtitles.
It's an alternate
It's-
reading of the
it's in the
kanji in the
subtext.
original.
It's an
I see.
alternate reading of the
It's implied.
Looks.
You understand, Japanese is a very context-dependent language.
Okay, listen, we're getting into the good shit this session. Okay. Looks like Takano noticed my uneasy expression. I couldn't help but blush a little and avert my gaze.
Older woman fetish, whoa.
Oh my god. Okay, we're just going right back in, I see.
Yeah.
Deeper inside, there was a heavy and old but sturdy looking door with solemn decorations on it. Well, it's not sturdy.
There's a
looking, it just
heavy
is sturdy.
TF2? Incredible.
No. It was the last door sealing away what was within.
Strange how it has an antechamber, even though it's just a warehouse, isn't it? I believe it's set up this way so that you open one door at a time, never letting the room with all the tools be seen from the outside.
90% of chat does not know what an antechamber is.
Takano-san explained this, awfully impressed by the construction.
It's a reference to the video game Antechamber.
I think it's
That's
the opposite of a chamber,
anti-chamber.
right?
No.
That's why it's called anti-chamber.
But still, it really is dark in here. It's called an antechamber because you can gamble in it.
It's called an antechamber because your aunt's in there.
That over there. It's... I spotted a circuit breaker hanging from a clump of wire. What are you doing, Keiichi? You fucking idiot! Oh my god!
He's about
his
to slide
eyes-
into the wire.
No!
His eyes just naturally zoned in on the circuit breaker.
We have a lantern. Don't go turning on the fucking light, dumbass. I spotted a circuit.
You will
breaker
actually just
hanging
bite
from
a live
clump of
wire.
wiring, clumsily attached to the wall.
Oh, here. Isn't this the light switch or something?
I flipped the biggest switch I can find. Keiichi, what are you doing? We're
Less
in a
dumb,
forbidden
less-
ritual storehouse, dude.
Less stupid this
They
episode,
cursed
guys. Less
the light
stupid.
switch.
Okay, I take it back. I shouldn't have trusted him in any capacity. Look, he's... Okay, but my point was that he's being stupid in a different way, and that's improvement. At least he's trying something new.
He's going to get literally ripped to pieces, bro.
Yeah,
He's
he's-
proactively stupid.
Like, he's actually screwed after this, right? There's no way he's not fucked. Anyway,
The
Who was the
entire village
electrician?
is going to
Hold
descend
on.
upon him and
Who was the
tear the
electrician
flesh
that
from his bones.
did this? Who rigged this?
what do you mean who rigged this? It's a light switch!
It's rigged.
Rico
why
rigged
it's
it.
Light switch!
Who
It's
brought
rigged.
mains power into the ritual storehouse?
Okay, look, anyway, I'm just gonna read the next line. I flipped the biggest switch we can find, and with a click, the pitch-black room was illuminated by an old, bare light bulb. Listen, we all know Keiichi's dumb. It's fine. It's too late now. Everyone scrunched up their faces at the sudden strobe-like brightness. Oh good, it's strobing too. Don't! Before she even finished, Shion slapped my hand and flipped the switch back. There was another loud click, and the room returned to darkness, with only the lantern for illumination. You can't, Kei-chan. We snuck in here, remember? If you turn on the light, it might give us away. See, Shion knows what's up. Fucking dumbass Keiichi, what the hell? I'm scolded by Shion fairly harshly, and fairly deservedly as well. It looked like she was worried about whether what someone had seen them from the momentary light.
Shion's just much better at heists, for no particular reason.
For no reason
I don't think you need to be
whatsoever.
good at heists
She's
to
got
understand that turning on the light here is a bad
2,000
idea.
hours in Payday 2.
It's alright, it was only for a moment.
Takano-san
She has-
remained a relaxed adult.
She has 0 hours in Payday 2. She's the real story that Payday 2 is based off of.
Oh, I see. It seemed like she was confident that she could talk her way out of it if someone did see us.
She played thief. Let's go in. Here we go. There.
Oh my
And
god.
the-
She's gonna start
even-
playing the clarinet.
The even heavier door opened, and this time, it wasn't just the dust that came out with the air. There was also a nasty smell, like just a pile of corpses. Just all of the victims from the previous years. One smell was like opening a dust-filled cupboard in the back of the kitchen that hadn't been opened in years. And the other smell, the nasty one, was hard to explain, but it was like the raw odor of a fish market.
Damn, they
Oh
have
my
a fish
God.
market in here?
No.
The secret
From how
Hinamizawa fish market.
From how the sound echoed, this room felt larger than the first.
Big enough to fit an entire fish market.
Takano-san held up her lantern and revealed the contents of the expansive room.
Whoa!
That was the sound from chapter start, wow. At the back wall of the storehouse, right in front of us, was a Buddha-like holy object, standing there, looking down at us. I was taken aback by its unseen force, lit up by the slender beam of the lantern.
That's the guardian god of Hinamizawa, Oyashiro-sama.
Oh yeah, look, there he is in center frame.
Oh, look at the torture bullshit in the background.
I mean, that's,
Ignore that.
that's about what
It's
I
inconvenient.
expected we'd find in here. It's far grander than the one at the shrine. Oyashiro-sama. So this is the spirit protecting Hinamizawa. The one guarding the holy land of Hinamizawa from the impurities of the outside world, and the one delivering punishment after punishment upon those who attempted to sully the land with dam construction.
It looks like there are far more tools stored here than I thought, SpongeBob. But this is so sad that them have been maintained. How unfortunate that they're in such a state.
Even in the dim light, I could see a lot of strange objects lining the walls, ceiling, and shelves. Takano-san, speaking as if in a trance, was infatuated by the various implements filling the dark room. They weren't very festival-like or traditional, but instead, this was more like the workshop of a blacksmith or a carpenter.
What kind of blacksmith you going to?
Keiichi, are you
Blacksmith.
fucking... Are
The
you fucking
BDSM
serious?
blacksmith and carpenter.
Yeah. BDSM, the B and S stand for Black and Smith.
I mean, I guess this
Yeah.
wall looks like carpenter, but anyway, there were a lot of wooden and metal tools packed in here. I'm curious, how did this look in the original? Because it's got to be less blatant as to what's here. Wait, no, not sprite style. Where's background style? Yeah, okay, it's a lot less clear. I see. Putting it bluntly, it was all pretty boring stuff, like a torture table.
including the table, yeah.
I have one of those in my house. I'd imagine there'd be more artistic things in here from the Heian period, but I pronounced that wrong, didn't I? These are a far cry from
That's
being
close
cultural
enough.
artifacts.
Far Cry? Is that a reference to the games?
Yes. My expression betrayed my dashed hopes that we were playing Far Cry, and they caught on right away.
Dashed? Is that a reference to Sonic the Hedgehog?
Wow. It's just not interesting for you.
I don't think this sprite has been a thing before. Just had like 5 sprites.
I'm not into literature or art, So, I can look at this stuff, but I don't really understand its value.
Oh, Keiichi-kun, you really do look like you don't get it. I guess that's only natural.
It was only natural, I see. I think every time Ryukishi types that sentence, his power level grows. That's why he keeps saying it. Takano-san reached into a paper bag that she'd been holding the whole time, took out a worn scrapbook, and began to flip through it. Okay, well, there's confirmation, I guess, if it wasn't already obvious.
It was only natural the scrapbook was worn.
And just for you, Keiichi-kun, I'll tell you an old story. It's a common tale in this region. If you go to the library, it would even be on their recommended reading list.
Telling stories in such a dark, creepy place? She must have a horror story in mind. Shion's face belied nothing but calm. If she had the same personality as Mion, she'd have found fault with me being scared. I'll endure it for now and pretend to be calm.
Okay, alright, I'll read it.
After confirming that I was going to be quiet and listen, she began to speak softly, like a kindergarten teacher reading a picture book.
Long, long ago, in a certain village in the mountains, there was a swamp. This swamp was very, very deep. Some even called it bottomless. People said it was connected to hell, the land of demons.
I think that's probably true, and there's like nothing below the surface level. The rumors said that this was deeper than the ocean, and that anyone it would. The rumors said that it was deeper than the ocean, and that anyone it swallowed would sink into the underworld, a bottomless swamp.
It's not truly bottomless, it's where the United States keeps its cheese.
Its name was Onigafuchi, a famous American name. Wait, no it isn't. I thought back to the story I heard yesterday about the sacrifices sinking into the bottomless swamp. Could that be the swamp she's talking about?
It's because we're reading the bad translation. If we read the 4Kids one, that would be localized as Ohio
Okay, true.
or something.
The Ohio
Gafuchi.
swamp.
Keiichi, you're a little bit slow on the uptake, aren't you?
So then the village was Hinamizawa, right?
Keiichi, you're very slow, aren't you?
You catch on quickly. That's right. It was called Onigafuchi Village at the time.
Onigafuchi village. That's a pretty inauspicious name.
It evokes quite the image, doesn't it? I hear that the name was changed in the Meiji period. The name of the swamp connected to hell was called Onigafuchi, which meant the demon's abyss. And the true name of this village, Hinamizawa, was Onigafuchi Village.
The villagers belonged to that abyss, or to hell. In other words, they lived their lives worshipping the swamp, said to connect to it. But then, one day...
Oh. Demons began to appear one after the other, from deep in the swamp.
He's cool as fuck.
Yeah, he's cool as... I'm gonna imagine there's probably no CG in the original.
He's got a 10-pack.
The villagers feared that hell was overflowing. The demons mercilessly attacked the villagers. They could only watch in fear. They could do no more than hide themselves and tremble.
So, did someone exterminate them?
Unfortunately, there is no Momotaro or Superman in this fairy tale.
Superman.
Then, did they get the whole village together to fight them?
Heavens, no. The villagers weren't nearly strong enough to fight on equal terms with the demons.
So, then, the only recourse would be to flee the village.
They couldn't do that either. To the villagers, it was their beloved homeland. It didn't matter how terrifying the demons, they wouldn't have to run away so easily.
Then, what did they do? Wouldn't they just get wiped out?
Unable to fight and unable to run, all they could do was wait for the village to be destroyed. Then, when everyone had lost hope, their god, Oyashiro-sama, descended unto them.
I see. So Oyashiro-sama came down from the sky and beat up all the demons then.
That makes sense. You're such a boy, Kei-chan. You always jump straight to using force to resolve things. Shion sighed, a little annoyed. Embarrassed, I held my tongue.
Think about Oyashiro-sama. He wasn't a violent god who would beat them up like you're saying. He was a kind god filled with love and benevolence.
Is that real?
Yes. The strength of Oyashiro-sama, descended from the heavens, couldn't be compared to that of the demons. They didn't even fight. They simply prostrated themselves before his radiant authority. Oyashiro-sama urged them to go back to hell from whence they came, but the demons wept and challenged him, saying they could never return.
The world of demons, too, has harsh commandments. They claim they had been banished from hell.
Demons, who didn't have a place to go, neither in hell nor in the human world. Of course they were at fault for attacking the village. They deeply reflected on it and were sorry. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Higurashi reference. As the villagers conversed amongst themselves, little by little they came to pity the demons, and, after talking with everyone in the village, they decided to live alongside them.
A lot of fairy tales have them being exterminated or driven away, but you don't often hear one where they live in peace.
You're right. Demons are supposed to symbolize all evils. A story where they decide to live together with humans is certainly strange. No, that seems normal. When the demons first heard the villagers' invitation, they doubted their ears, but soon burst into tears of joy. The villagers had given them a place to live. It was said that in payment for this good deed, the demons shared their many kinds of power and secrets with the villagers.
Oyashiro-sama was very pleased with this happy exchange. He gave the demons the bodies of humans so that they would be indistinguishable from the villagers. He himself decided to stay on the surface and watch over the everlasting peace between them.
A land in which man, demon, and god live together. I had thought the word demon was a noun meaning evil that needs to be exterminated. A god may have mediated for them, but you don't often hear happy endings like that where both sides live in harmony. I see. I guess it is kind of interesting.
Although the normal fairy tale ends there, it was revised quite a bit during the Edo period into a much longer story.
After that, the humans and demons intermixed, and eventually there was no difference between them.
So the demons ended up disappearing?
No, not at all. Half of them stayed just as they were. The knowledge the villagers had received from the demons basically made them into something inhuman, what people call transcendent. They were well aware the power they had was heresy, and as those below worshipped them, they lived out their lives in secrecy.
This story is the root of many derivative tales and pieces of fiction. It's the foundation, I mean. The basis.
What do you mean by a root?
She means the part about the villagers having demon blood. What I mean is, all of the legends from around here are based on the premise that the villagers are descended from demons. There was a hint of amusement in Shion's face when she said that. When isn't there? It was like she wanted to say that she, too, had demon blood in her.
Aw, demon
Weird-
wife?
Weird thing to extrapolate, but okay, Keiichi.
She's Dante Devil May Cry?
Is there any proof, though? Maybe it's somehow rooted in historical fact, beyond just fairy tales.
Maybe demons are real.
Oh, my Barakun, then do you believe that demons really did come out of the swamp and breed with humans?
He
Okay.
wanted to believe.
Hmm. Well, it's not that I don't believe it, but
Who wants that demon swamp pussy?
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, when she said demon, she meant the ones from hell, but in ancient Japan, the word wasn't yet necessarily used to denote only that kind, right? The more well-known use involves the drifting foreigner theory. As the story goes, Westerners who were shipwrecked in nearby seas had such markedly different customs that they were called demons. Japanese people were relatively similar in appearance to other Asians, but everything about those from the West was different: their physiques, their faces, and their skin color. In Japan, terms like red demon and blue demon evoke images especially of Westerners. Lacking in skin pigments, Westerners would sunburn easily and turn red. Being fair-skinned, I think blood vessels appearing on their skin would look blue, too. A handful of accidental aliens would drift into Japan and came under persecution, being called demons. They would flee into the mountains to survive, turn into bandit groups, and attack villages for food and the like.
how does that explanation sound? Maybe it's a bit childish.
Takano gave me a weird smile. Having come up with such an impromptu hypothesis, I unconsciously followed it up with self-deprecation. Still, she didn't smile as if to make fun of me. Also, thank you for the play-by-play, Keiichi.
It's not ridiculous. There are a lot of people who subscribe to the drifting foreigner theory. Even so, nobody actually knows what happened. Were they groups of foreigners who had turned to banditry, or were they really demons who had come from the bottom of the world?
Then, Takano-san, which one do you believe?
The truth of the matter aside, I'd rather believe the more fantastic explanation. It's more fun that way, isn't it?
Her answer made her sound a wee bit like a romanticist.
She's the most relatable character so far.
So do you want it to be a curse? Would you rather it be a curse?
Yeah, and I want Bigfoot to be real too. I believe in
Girl
Bigfoot
wants-
because I think it'd be more fun if he's real.
I don't think Bigfoot is going to show up in this story. Please
But I'm
poke
saying
me
in
on that.
general.
Please poke me on that when we get to Arc 7.
Well, okay, when you get to Arc 7, he'll show up to you.
Bigfoot is the culprit, guys. I subscribe to Bigfoot Triss.
Okay. Here I thought she'd reject unrealistic stories like that.
Yeah, sure, Osama's Bigfoot.
You know
No,
what
that
they
is-
say about gods with big feet.
Oh my god. They've got
Now
big
then.
hearts.
This is where the fun begins.
This is where the fun begins, guys. Takano-san brought an end to her storytelling, and waits for a moment as if to tantalize us. Suddenly, Shion looked around, as if something had caught her eye. Her head bobbed to and fro, like she was making sure nothing had changed.
What's wrong, Shia?
I'm sorry. Please don't worry about it. Shion pretended as though nothing had happened. Takano-san also made sure nothing had happened, then cleared her throat and broached the next subject. Why did they both make sure that nothing happened when nothing happened?
Nothing ever happens. They
Why-
have to confirm that nothing ever happens.
Huh? I'm worried. Why did they do that?
They have to be sure that they're still in Hinamizawa. You know.
I explained that half of the villagers have demon blood. That blood, they actually say it's the blood of the kind of demon that eats people.
Man-eating demons? That escalated quickly.
Oh, music stopped.
That blood still runs through the villagers' veins. They say that sometimes the blood awakens from its slumber.
I thought the fairy tale had a happy ending, with humans and demons living in peace. But it began to suddenly change into a brutal, bloody story. I can't think of any stories like that I've read recently.
Well, they eat people. They say that every decade or so, they can't help but want to feast on human flesh. The villagers can't eat other villagers. So when this happens, it's said that they descended on the human villages and conducted onikakushi.
What's an onikakushi?
Broadly speaking, it's when a demon kidnaps someone. When a person is demoned away, they say that the villagers of Onigafuchi would overwhelm unfortunate human villages in order to kidnap sacrifices.
Takano-san's explanation was plain and simple, but when I imagined what it must have been like, it was terrifying. They lose their human reason. The villagers turn into real demons en masse. They attack villages they loathe, in the dirty world of the masses below. And then they kill and eat their sacrifices.
So they're no different from demons after all. What did Oyashiro-sama do? Wasn't he supposed to be staying in the village and watching over them?
Oh yeah, Shiro-sama knew about it, of course. Onikakushi is indiscriminate. The villagers apparently never kidnapped anyone other than the sacrifices decided upon by their god. In the text, there's usually only 1 or 2 people.
A village inhabited by those both human and inhuman. It was like the heartwarming episode's colors had inverted, like negative film. Almost as if we've been using negative colors frequently, revealing
As
the
if,
painful
you say.
and ugly truth. As if it was as if.
It was as if.
So on the nights when they stole away villagers, they would feast on their kidnapped sacrifices, which is why the nights came to be known as Watanagashi.
Watanagashi. Tonight's festival was Watanagashi. I just couldn't reconcile the fun festival with the horrible tale Takano-san was telling me.
Watanagashi. Well, wasn't it about giving thanks to the futons we use over the winter or something?
Kei-chan, Wata has another meaning, you know. I actually don't, thank you. It means entrails. Can we get a confirmation on that? Does it actually?
Keiichi didn't
Yeah,
study
it's
in
real.
kanji.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So on-trail drifting. Cool. Shion, who had been silent up until now, spoke up.
Gut-ripping festival.
Entrails? Oh yeah, I guess that's true. Like fish guts. Wait, what?
Like a jigsaw puzzle, the fun times I had today and Takano-san's grotesque tale clicked together in my mind.
Watanagashi, so gut spilling?
Nice. Nice. That's a good reveal, thank you. I didn't think
I love
that...
the gut-spilling festival.
Yeah, do you want to go to the gut spilling festival this summer?
Me too.
I hope my guts get spilled this time. I didn't think saying that could ever feel so nauseating.
Yes, it's as you imagine, my Barakun. Right now, the Watanagashi Festival might just be a somewhat early summer festival occurring every June, but it used to be different. It used to be a ghastly cannibalistic feast, held on a night the villagers had collected their unfortunate dinner.
That can be true.
I had no real reason to say that, but I couldn't help it.
My Barakun, you said that Watanagashi is a ritual about purifying futons, right? What do you think the futons filled with cotton, with Wata, represent?
Futons are futons. They're beds. They're things for sleeping in. What else could they possibly represent?
I can't think of a single thing. I was rattling on, desperately attempting to deny the horrible festival that Takano-san was describing. Deep down, however, I found myself understanding all too well what she meant. Futons stuffed with cotton. If the cotton represented entrails in both pronunciation and meaning, then entrail-filled futons would have to be humans.
Why Why don't you think back to the offertory dance Rika-chan performed? Do you know what she was doing up there?
No, I don't. I didn't even watch the whole thing anywhere.
Shh! Kei-chan, you're getting too worked up. Shion grabbed one of my ears, reminding me that this wasn't somewhere I should raise my voice. Even so, I still can't suppress this agitation I feel.
Rika-chan was carrying a festival hoe. You've probably realized it already, but that's not a hoe for plowing That's not a hoe for plowing fields. It's a tool for dissecting human bodies.
It's not a hoe for plowing.
Ooh, that's nice.
That's a nice look. That's a nice.
That's a good
expression.
thumbnail.
This is going in my thumbnail compilation. I didn't see the dance all the way through, so I don't know what kind of performance Rika-chan was
Is
putting
that
on
a
after I
scimitar on
left.
the wall?
It looks like some sort of spear.
Oh, it's like more like a halberd
Maybe like a
or something,
billhook.
actually.
Oh, boy, bill hook? Okay, anyway.
No, like the
Tie
tool
2
billhook.
reference.
I didn't see the dance all the way through, so I don't know what kind of performance Rika-chan was putting on after I'd left. When I told this to Takano-san, she kindly explained Rika-chan's dance to me. To summarize what she said, after what I'd seen, Rika-chan would pierce the futons with that hoe, cut them open, and pull out the cotton inside. She'd cut the cotton out, one bit at a time, and set it afloat. That's the kind of ritual it was.
Broadly speaking, it was quite the bombastic ceremony where they'd rip out the guts and throw them into a basin, and then the ritual was over.
Oh, well that's nice.
It's thought that afterwards, the villagers, each with a different role, dismantled the flesh piece by piece and feasted upon it. Hehehe.
At Takano-san's strangely happy giggle, I felt, for some reason, violent displeasure. Rika-chan, every day during our lunch break, she'd take a rice-pounding mallet into the schoolyard, and she'd work so hard, sweating bullets to practice for her offertory dance she had done today. All that effort, all that work. Takano-san disgraced it. Even though she worked so hard to practice for today. Takano-san, I think you should choose your words more carefully. Kei-chan's pretty naive, so please don't tease him so much. A moment before I
Please
opened
gaslight him further.
A moment before I opened my mouth to express how angry I was, Shion stopped me. Shion must have been fully aware of how that story made me feel, almost as if she could read the text on my face.
I'm sorry. I thought you'd like a story with that sort of shock value since you're a boy.
Takano-san spoke without
based?
Takano-san spoke without a hint of malice as she smiled gracefully. After hearing all that, did you figure out what kind of stuff is in this storehouse, Kei-chan? See? Look. Shion pointed out one of the walls vaguely illuminated by the lantern's light. There was... Mere moments ago, they hadn't held my interest. They were just boring-looking tools lined up on the shelves, and a torture rack.
There's an Iron Maiden in there.
All those uninteresting tools that I didn't understand how to use, they all suddenly took on a new meaning, and I couldn't help but let out a groan.
It's you fucking stupid.
At first they had looked like carpentry tools, like chisels or planes. Okay, to be fair though, in the original one, like, you can't clearly see everything. That's
There's way more
Yeah.
visual clarity in
Yeah.
this, it seems, so...
At
Which
first,
does kind of create a bit of dissonance with the text, yeah.
At first they had looked like carpentry tools, like chisels or planes. However, when I thought back, I'd seen pictures of these sorts of tools before. Yes, they came up in a Japanese history textbook. Yes, on the page introducing the Kaitai Shinsho, or New Text on Anatomy.
These sorts of things. They're printed realistically in the literature of Germany, capital of the medical world.
These aren't carpentry tools. These strangely shaped tools, they're for dissection. Everyone knows that in the Edo period, they would dissect the corpses of those who had been put to death in order to gain knowledge about Western medical techniques. Okay, but like, wasn't there that story about them also healing people? Couldn't they just be doing like surgery?
You can't do surgery without killing people first.
They did surgery on the foreigner.
They did surgery on
They-
the foreigner.
They first practiced surgery on a grape.
Yeah, the demons were the ones who actually made that video. Illustrations of the dissection tools they used at the time came up in textbook supplements. That's why you don't actually see any humans in the video. The things hung up on this wall all looked exactly the same as those.
If you want a scarier way of looking at it, think of them as cooking utensils. Hehe.
Ooh, curry. Takano-san, holding the lantern, the only light source in the room, led us along the wall. She had the only light, so I had to walk after her whether I liked it or not. I have some comments on this. Should I keep them to myself, or should I say?
Cook.
Okay. So I think I said during, like, at some point in Chapter 1 that Keiichi is definitely not, like, the role of detective. I'm gonna extremely hot take here. I think he's not even the main character. I think we're looking at the first 4 chapters from a side character's point of view, and then when we get to the answer arcs, we'll get to be the actual main character.
You think he's the Watson?
I don't think he's even the Watson. I think he's the victim. Like, he was...
Who's the Sherlock, then?
I don't fucking know. It's not Ooishi, though. That's all I know. It ain't fucking him. Anyway, anyway, this line made me think that because, you know, Keiichi is our only light. We can only see what he sees. And it's horrible.
Oh, I thought it was because he's getting femdomed.
No! Okay. She had the only
base?
light, so I
Yeah,
had to
base,
walk
but
after
still.
her whether I liked it or not.
Look,
Takano-san illuminated a coiled chain, which left a bigger impression than the other things we saw. The chain itself was nothing unusual, but further along it were metal fetters that were like hinges, clearly meant for binding people. Kei-chan, look at that. Shion tapped me on the shoulder and pointed to a restraining table that was clearly shaped like a person. My spine froze. My blood felt like it was being turned into sherbet as it crawled up my back.
Sherbers.
I could go for some sherbet right now.
I could really go for some human sherbet.
On each of the joints were things like chains and iron balls attached. It was like the table was searching for its next sacrifice, ready to spread their arms wide and close them in.
it's probably a chopping block. I think you strapped the sacrifice down to prep them for eating.
The words chopping block sent a jolt through my body. When I looked more closely, there were many dark slices carved into it, as though from a knife or... as through from a knife or saw. I'm gonna screenshot that one.
Typo, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
They were the most clear-cut signs of usage you could ask for. It proved these tools weren't just for show. They were used for their original purpose. Interesting
That's
how he
what
says
happens.
they were used for their original purpose right after saying they were medical tools. If someone was strapped tightly onto this table, they probably wouldn't be able to move even a muscle. Their guts would be defenseless. You take one of these eerie-looking cooking knives lined up over there, stab them with it, and then you'd slice open their belly and dissect them? I'd heard the stories, but this is incredible. Before coming in here, Shion had mentioned that she had a good guess of what was inside, but it seems to have exceeded her imagination.
There's still more. How about it? More fascinating than a wax museum, isn't it?
Takano-san had this happy expression, like she was visiting a toy store for the first time. I don't get it. This Mio Takano person has nerves of steel. Are Are these bizarre, grotesque objects that fascinating to her? She's not a stand-in for any audience members, by the way. I, for one, was not enjoying myself.
She's the most relatable character so far.
I'll be frank. This was all too weird for me. Still, there was something even more horrifying than all this. That would be none other than Takano-san herself, who, again, does not represent any members of the community. Takano-san, holding the lantern, giving off such a thin beam of light, if she suddenly turned it off, then I would... What would I do when, the next moment, everything went totally dark? That's why I was scared. Takano-san had the only light, and anyway, I was scared. At some point, Shion had started holding on to my shirt sleeve.
She was also scared.
It was a little annoying to walk like that, but I didn't shake her off. Ah, Keiichi's being a little sensible for once. Good job. That minor sensation allowed me to feel the presence of an ally, here and now.
Look, you might get to hug her afterwards.
Before we had even walked halfway through the storehouse, the air I felt on my skin changed completely. These cruel tools lined up, all crammed together in this place. Some were horrible ones, made to take away Sacrifice's freedom, and some were tools made to efficiently disassemble and prepare the bodies for consumption. Those were just the things I understood. There were plenty of other strange-looking objects that I couldn't even guess the purpose of. Now that I was here, I didn't have the slightest desire to hear the details about what sort of terrifying reasons they were meant to be used for. At the very least, they were all completely different from the sort of clean, simple killing function of a katana. Tools to kill people were, obviously, constructed in such a way that they could kill people.
Good insight,
No way.
Keiichi.
No
People
way.
died.
He might
That's
actually be
crazy.
the detective.
He's the detective. Okay, I take everything back. If that was the goal, then the person you used them on would, obviously, end up dead.
For real?
The kinds of tools here, however, were different. The tools that were here were for cutting people, for crushing them, for boiling them and cooking them, and for grinding them. They were tools of torture. They weren't made to kill people. People dying was just an incidental result. They weren't made to kill people. People dying
It
was
just
an
sorta
incidental
happened.
result.
Your
So
Honor,
they're
it
Tools
just
to
medical
sorta
kill people
happens.
were constructed to kill people.
It's almost as if they were medical tools of some kind. Because they
Your
weren't made
Honor,
to kill
he-
people, but they incidentally kill people.
Your Honor, he just happened to end up dead.
Actually, they might not even kill them. If the sacrifices could die during such a horrifying ritual process, that would be nice, but they don't even die in the end. They remain in a state of hellish pain. Perhaps they were only being allowed to live. Only now, in this moment, did I fully realize just how terrifying and fearsome that difference was. I'm liking my medical tools theory because I want Keiichi to be wrong on everything.
Most of these wouldn't kill them if used properly.
Takano-san, as if, reading my mind, that as if is doing a lot of heavy lifting in this sentence. Okay, hold on.
Takano's actually a psychic.
Takano-san, as if, reading my mind, displayed a shocking smile.
Burning at the stake, the famous method of execution for witches, will kill the person immediately.
No, it won't.
I don't know about that.
What?
No, it
What do you
won't.
mean? That's not true.
When the body's severe burn or extreme burns on the skin all over, the decomposition of the skin's chemicals makeup produce poison-like symptoms and causes an immense shock to the victim.
You wanna make shit up for fun?
Though I suppose it's still very cruel. Compared to the guillotine, you have to wait far longer for that to happen, so it's not immediate.
She described such horrors in a strangely medical way, almost as if she was a medical professional. Shion immediately answered the question I had. Takano-san is a nurse. Let me have one thing, Ryukishi! one thing!
They said
was
that
only
before.
written in
They said
because,
that before.
I know.
that was
I
only
know,
written
that's
in because
why
he
I
said it, though.
There's a saying that nothing can scare a doctor. I guess it's true.
Oh, and also, there was a method of execution in ancient Rome where they would grill the person, just like a barbecue. They would cover the person in wire netting and slowly cook them over a charcoal fire.
That's nice. To think the
I
memories...
can't believe when she says talking about gruesome things like that, her voice returns to normal.
To think the memories of when I went to a day camp with my family would come rushing back now, of all times, so vividly.
I am trying to cut down on the funny voice a little, to be fair.
That's what it was like. Apparently, they wouldn't die too easily for some reason. According to one source, even if they roasted one side of a person to a crisp for an entire night, they would still be conscious and able to speak fluently.
It's insane. You'd grill someone the whole day, and they'd still be conscious. It said that ancient Rome, famous for their executions, thought of plenty of ways to execute someone while having the victim stay alive as long as possible.
Among them, there was one method where they would open the gut, pull out the intestines like sausages, pull them up with a winch, and put them on public display. Ooh, tasty.
Yummy. Shion was behind me, clinging to me. Not just because she was scared. She was protecting her stomach.
You would think someone with their intestines pulled out would die instantly, right? Actually, as long as you do it tenderly and thoroughly, with love.
That face tells me that she has experience with this.
It's apparently possible to pull them all out while the person is still conscious.
I felt a sick feeling in my stomach. It was like my organs were coiling up, just from Takano-san's stare.
Though pulling them out with a winch was a rather exaggerated method. In a more barbaric way, they might slice open the gut, then cut the intestines out and throw them everywhere. It's quite imaginable that they did dreadful things like that too, isn't it? However, those being put to death are conscious. It must be far more terrifying than painful.
She spoke with pleasure, as if she had come here on a sightseeing trip.
She's into it.
I heard Shion gulping multiple times near my ears.
Perhaps Hinamizawa, or rather Onigafuchi Village, did something like that for the Watanagashi festival. Listen, if you try hard, can't you hear it? The Higurashi.
I wanted nothing more than to not hear anything at all. So why? Why only at times like these do I begin to hear things I shouldn't be able to? Takano-san, having realized she'd scared Shion and I enough at this point, smiled soothingly. Then she turned on her heel, raised the lantern, and began to walk again. If Takano-san left us here, we'd get even further away from the light. Shion and I, no matter how scared we were forced to follow Takano-san along her field trip through the ritual storehouse.
I suppose you've seen a bit of everything. See? This place is interesting, isn't it?
She says, raising the lantern high in the center of the storehouse. The dim lighting didn't change, but for some reason, it felt like I was able to see all of those horrible tools at once. Kei-chan!
It's beyond jump scare.
Shion stammered while grabbing the nape of my neck. I couldn't tell because it was so dark, but there were a lot more tools hanging from the ceiling as well.
How could Rika reach those?
Maybe she has a little step stool. It's like off in the corner, it's hard to notice.
She's got like a booster seat.
Yeah. They all looked like they were made of iron bars. But then I figured it out. Cages. For cages...
Oh, it's a jungle gym.
They were very small. Cramped cages just for one, like a casket. If you got locked up in there... No, you wouldn't get locked up inside it. It was another tool meant for restraining people, where the iron bars would squeeze you tightly. All the... so many, big and large, things of all shapes, were hanging down. Takano-san's method of execution by grilling crosses my mind.
I just want to grill.
We weren't just surrounded on all sides by those terrifying instruments. Things crowding the ceiling were even hanging over our heads. What about under the floorboards?
There are many of these sorts of bird cages among European torture devices. I'm surprised to see them in Japan as well.
Kei-chan, is there something in there? A person? A mummy?
Where?
Wait, mummy? Is that a 999 reference?
Mummy?
Shion desperately pointed to one of the many human-sized bird cages hanging from the ceiling, but I couldn't tell which one she meant. Being that dark, there wasn't any way you could tell if something was there in the first place.
I don't see anything. You sure you're not seeing things? Kids these days.
Shion didn't seem convinced, but without a means to confirm for ourselves, we couldn't do much but wonder.
I wonder.
My Barakun, after seeing this, have you come to believe in all of it? The countless terrible rituals passed down in Hinamizawa?
It's got nothing to do with believing in them. Now that I've been shown the real thing like this, there's no possible way to deny it. Except the medical tools thing. I don't know why they have medical cages, though.
They're for their pet birds.
Oh, that makes sense. Even the nations of Europe, with all their beautiful landscapes and legends, were like a maelstrom during the terrible witch hunts of the Dark Ages. It's well known that the era gave birth to countless gruesome forms of torture and execution. Japan was the same way. Didn't it have its own era of hellscape-like torturous feasts because of religious suppression and things of that nature? Hinamizawa itself had such a period. It had that much history behind it. Even in Europe, land of the witch hunts, that was all far in the past, no more than a series of historical events, and in this age, nothing that abnormal would ever happen. That must apply to Hinamizawa as well.
This Europe had its dark age. Hinamizawa had one too. That's how this should be taken. Even if those things really happened in Hinamizawa, they're all long past. They don't have anything to do with the people living in Hinamizawa right now.
That's where you're wrong. My Barakun, you really do like this village.
It didn't sound like she was making fun of me. Takano-san gave me a light smile. Takano-san, you're researching whether those customs survived into the present. You are, right? Shion suggested something that made my heart leap into my throat. Are you telling me that all these horrible things are still going on even today?
What I'm about to tell you is a secret, alright? I told you, Shion-chan, because you're an understanding person, but the other villagers don't want to hear it. If things go awry, I could be ganged up on and punished.
Shion flashed a devilish smile, as if reveling in the immorality of it.
My Barakun, you keep it a secret too, okay? If this gets out, I could suffer Oyashiro-sama's curse, or be made into a sacrifice.
Buddy, you ain't surviving past the night.
If it's the curse, then I wonder what kind of death it'll be this year. If it's the sacrifice, then will I be thrown into the Onigafuchi swamp while still alive? It is tonight, you know. The night of Oyashiro-sama's curse.
Possibly the worst night to be breaking an ancient taboo.
I mean, is there really
But it's
a
the
good
only
time
day
for
they're
this?
distracted.
It's a fitting night. It's a fitting night to choose it.
I don't think there's a
And
good
think
night
about it
for
this way.
This is the best night. It's the one where they're
You do it.
distracted. They have to do it tonight.
The night after Watanagashi, you'd have 364 days before you actually die.
Takano,
Just wait till the clock strikes midnight.
It remembers.
Takano-san said, bringing her face up right up close to ours, as if to say that if she had the choice, she'd rather suffer the curse. That was what she seemed to be implying. Takano-san took a fairly worn notebook out of her paper bag, then began to flip through its pages. There were all sorts of references and newspaper clippings attached to them, and it had all manner of things written inside. The letters were very small and bunched together, so I couldn't tell at a glance what it was about.
What I'd really like to do is search through the National Library for newspapers from the era, but here it is.
A photocopy of a page from some book was slid into the notebook, and it, too, was written in small, tight lettering. Like the other pages, I couldn't tell what it was about. But, just by glancing at it, I needed to stretch for a second.
This is a story that actually happened. That's how you know it really happened. It was around the end of the Meiji era. They discovered an unknown mangled corpse, the victim of a murder, in Onigafuchi village.
An old newspaper clipping attached to the page spoke of something that was no mere rumor or fairy tale.
We don't have the most police documents from the time anymore, so it's all based on oral traditions and memories. See? It's not very clear, but it looks like a cutout of a newspaper from the Meiji era.
Does anyone want to take the news reporter, or should I take this?
Never before has there been a corpse treated with such cruelty and inhumanity. Could it be the work of a demon?
Being a copy of a copy, it was very hard to make out, but it was more than enough to make me feel strangely tense. Near the end of the Meiji area... why did I say area? Near the end of the Meiji era, in old Onigafuchi village, a mangled corpse was discovered. The identity of the corpse was unknown. It wasn't even in a state where it could be identified in the first place. It was missing a head, and each limb was separated from the body. Skin had been peeled off the entire body, and there were markings that implied terrible torture in every place imaginable. Not only that, but the belly had been cut open by a sharp knife, with the entrails completely dragged out. The police immediately began an investigation, but since they couldn't even determine the identity of the victim, much less the criminal, finding answers was extremely difficult.
You understand what it must have been like?
I couldn't imagine such a strange sight, even if I tried. This was the first time I was ever thankful for my lack of imagination.
The victim was skinned while still alive, underwent all kinds of torture, and was killed brutally. The author here also thinks that even after death, the remains were divided and dissected even further, the epitome of inhumanity. I'm of the opinion that the entire process was performed while the person was still alive, though. What do you think, my Barakun?
She spoke in a way intended to make me imagine even more vicious things. As my brain was already far over capacity, that's not a surprise. However, there was no way I could imagine anything more brutal. Then, when I broke my gaze from Takano-san's, those strangely shaped and weird tools were all around us. I wonder if you could faithfully reproduce the mutilated corpse discovered at the end of the Meiji era with the tools found in this place. I want to deny it. I don't want to admit that something so terrible could have happened at all. Even so, they were so strange, so terrifying, these tools. And as if they had already seen through my attempt to escape from them, They did nothing but ridicule me silently.
So, a creepy incident. What was it in the end?
My throat hurts. Can someone take over her temporarily?
This is trying.
No, I'll head on, don't worry.
You don't have to cough and hack.
Yeah, you don't have to do a full smoker voice.
You don't have to do a smoker voice, period. Just do a voice.
The author says that regarding Onagifushi village's dreadful customs, they've survived into recent post-Meiji days, and that perhaps they lasted until around the beginning of the Showa period.
This corpse, at a glance, appeared to have been brutally killed after a period of torture. In actuality, however, it was the pitiful sacrificial remains of a man-eater's terrifying feast. The corpse was just leftovers. It was so fantastic, so strange that it didn't feel real. Was this an extension of the legends, too? It happened in the Meiji era though, which is just too recent to be called a legend. Also, there's a newspaper clipping right here suggesting it.
Okay, but even if it really happened, it was a long time ago, right? I mean, the Meiji era ended 100 years ago.
That's all. Only 100 years ago. Besides, it kept happening even after the beginning of the Showa period. Like with the uproar around the post-war canned flesh incident. Oh, I apologize. That story was taboo, wasn't it?
Takano-san immediately stopped talking, as if worried about Shion. As if. Shion briefly looked somewhat angry, but that expression soon disappeared. Man, the words "as if" are doing some heavy lifting this chapter.
No, they're not. You're imagining things. Huh? Akano-san, what did he just say? Canned flesh?
Ah, yes, Unit 731.
Just then, there was a huge creaking noise, like the door opening sound effect in Umineko, kind of like that. Everyone whipped around to look. I guess he hasn't.
It
found
was a
that sound
VLR
effect
reference.
Yet, no, this is an Umineko reference because that they have some loud ass doors in that game. Anyway, it was Tomatake-san who had opened the door slightly. Slightly.
They really need to oil that door.
Yeah, this door sucks. Did I startle you?
Oh, Jiro-san, could you not resist seeing inside? This is a splendid treasure trove of torture devices.
I'll pass on that. I'm bad with this sort of thing by nature. Why do I feel like you're lying? Takano-san held her stomach and had to muffle her laughter, as if she wanted to make a comment about his masculinity. In any case, the dance and ceremony are over, and everyone's going down to the stream. The festival will be over within minutes.
Oh, that's no good. My Barakun is just such a good listener that I couldn't help telling stories.
I'd really rather you not mention me in a place like this.
Jiro-san, could you wait out front? I want to take a few pictures. There are actually a lot of tools I'd like to bring home, but we obviously can't do that. Yeah, she wants those in her home.
Yeah.
They're so cute.
I want one of those. I'm gonna... Wait, was the whole cute "I'm gonna take you home" thing foreshadowing for Rena taking the torture tools home?
It was actually foreshadowing for the voice of Rena to voice Takano at this exact moment.
Oh, I see.
Ryukishi was writing in real time, you gotta understand.
Mm-hmm.
Takano-san took a camera out of her paper bag and began to snap photographs. She looked like she was having fun, like she was out on a scavenger hunt. Keiichi-kun, are you leaving too?
I've seen enough. Shion, you're good too, right? Let's get out of here. I want some fresh air.
I agree. Let's leave. I did feel a bit of hesitation at leaving Takano-san by herself in this darkness. When I thought about it, though, I realized that whatever kinds of evil spirits and ghosts lurked in the darkness, none of them could hold a candle to how scary she was. Again, not representing any parts of my audience here. Even if a phantasm were to appear, she'd be overjoyed and flash her camera at it. It seemed like Shion shared my somewhat rude mental images. We exchanged glances and smiled painfully. We left Takano-san there, bathed in her strobe of camera flashes, and decided to go leave the ritual storehouse. And now everything's happy again! Yay!
Happy music!
Yay! I'm sure this won't have any consequences! Everyone at the festival seemed to have gone to the stream, so their voices were very distant. The voices of the bugs, on the other hand, were clear, lending an empty feeling of isolation to the place. Department of Redundancy Department. How was it? Interesting. Tomatake-san gave us a somewhat mischievous grin. He should have been able to tell by looking at how pale our faces were.
I should have kept watch outside with you, Tomitake-san.
Tomatake-san laughed so delightfully that it wiped away our dark feelings. Thank you! How did you fare, Shion-chan? Were you scared? I was prepared for it, so I wasn't too afraid, but seeing the real thing was powerful. Shion spoke like she wasn't scared at all. She really had been quite afraid, but seeing as how I was in way worse a state than her, I didn't have much room to talk. As Tomatake-san grinned candidly, my mind, exhausted and locked up by nervousness, began to calm itself. Was Takano-san an adult about this little expedition? You know, she seems like a child sometimes. I was worried she'd be way too excited. Both Shion and I laughed and left that as our answer. Hopefully she was only looking at things. I'm worried she'll sneak something out of there, or mess with a ritual implement too much and break it or something. Right, that's quite possible. She is alone in there right now. She might pilfer something small and easily concealed, hiding in her pocket. Yeah, I can see that. Shion said what I was thinking. Okay. You sure she didn't break anything? I could clearly hear some noises like someone jumping up and down. What? I was getting pretty nervous.
I'm sorry, I ran out of film, Jiro-san. If you have any more, could I use some?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I used all the film.
Takano-san suddenly appeared while we were talking about her, taking everyone by surprise. Tomatake-san smoothly grinned and responded as if nothing had happened. He's pretty mature. I'm all out of spare film. Sorry about that.
Jeez. You don't want any Pulitzer Prizes by not stocking enough film for any occasion, you know. I suppose that's it then.
Tomatake-san scratched his head apologetically, apologizing. He was saying sorry. Without film, we're done here. Takano-san seemed to have given up because of that, too. We checked carefully to make sure we hadn't left anything inside, then closed the door and turned to the heavy padlock we left beside it. Takano-san, you didn't sneak anything out, right?
How rude. I'm not trying to be that childish.
Kerclack! Tomatake set the padlock back to the way it was before. From a cursory glance, it didn't look like thieves had snuck in at all. Oh wait, that's me, right? Okay.
I was gonna say.
Listen, I'm not used to doing Tomatake. I only started last session.
Yeah,
He also
Keiichi wishes
hasn't-
he was doing Tomatake.
He also hasn't been alive. So... Okay, let's get over to the stream ourselves. If you don't at least set some cotton afloat, there won't be any point in coming to the festival. Tomatake-san spoke brightly, urging us all on. Setting cotton afloat down the stream. I shake my head a few times, driving away my dismal thoughts as to the double meaning. Takano-san, looking a little let down, kept returning to glance at the ritual storehouse. Let's just leave it at that, alright? You saw enough to sate your curiosity, didn't you? Takano?
I was muted, God damn it. Oh, not at all. Everything I found only renewed my interests. All those stories and legends suddenly hold water. After today, I'm going to have to change the way I look at all this.
Surely she'll get a chance.
Wow. She's truly indomitable and won't get murdered.
I love after today.
Yeah. Her curiosity really is something else. Still interested in all this? Through and through. It was almost as if she represented a certain aspect of the mystery novel fanbase. Oh, nice, we got a tiki torch. I don't think we had the tiki torch before. We descended the
I think we had the
stone
I
CG
think it's
before.
new.
We
No?
descended the stone stairs, and all the people crowding the stream came into view. Near the bottom of the stairs, we could clearly see people receiving cotton that had been cut out for them, then wishing upon the cotton and setting it afloat down the stream. The festival was already over. Damn. I missed my chance to photograph the best part of Watanagashi.
Oh, but it's not too late. I'm going to go and set some afloat. Perhaps you could take pictures of me.
Takano-san, with an impish expression, brought her head to Tomatake-san's shoulder. Despite his age, he looked embarrassed. I felt an honest respect for Tomatake-san, man to man, for dating such a handful of a woman.
One handful.
Yep.
Goodbye, then. Maibaru-kun, Shion-chan.
We're going down to the stream. Would you like to come with us? No, no. I couldn't get in your way. Please, take your time. Shion waved her hand to them with an expression just as impish as Takano-san's.
Wing woman?
Woman-to-woman communication. Freak-to-freak communication. Tomatake-san, on his part, seemed to want us to come, but whatever. Shion gave a big stretch, that's a me reference, and sat down on the stone steps. I'm pretty worn out.
Same here. I'm exhausted too.
Kei-chan, this is your first Watanagashi, isn't it? You go on. Don't mind me. I'm tired, so I'd like to stay away from the crowd. Yeah, if we were to go now, we'd barely slip into the end of the cotton drifting ceremony. My sister and your other friends might be looking for you, too. Go on.
Oh, yeah, right. They've been by themselves ever since we got separated. I'd feel bad if they were looking for me.
Then, Shion suddenly got a playful look on her face, and then put her index finger to her lips, as if telling me to keep this a secret.
As if.
My sister is the type that gets really jealous. If she knew I was hogging you this whole time, she'd never let me hear the end of it, so let's keep tonight a secret, okay?
Surely this isn't foreshadowing anything.
Keep tonight a secret. Don't say things that are so embarrassing. Not only because of that, either. Considering what we were doing tonight, we really need to keep it a secret. Oyashiro-sama's curse might happen tonight, and we four would be the prime candidates. The loosening threads of tension became taut again. Shion, however, burst out laughing. Alright, I'm going to get out of here before I run into my sister. I really am tired, so I don't have the endurance to put up with her anyway.
Can't tell if you get along with her or not.
We get along. Though she said that, her vague expression explained that there are a lot of oddities in a relationship between twins.
I'm an only child, so I don't really get it. Make sure you get along with her, okay?
Right. Thank you kindly for your meddling. Okay, I'm gonna go. You should hurry up if you want to make it, Kei-chan. Watanagashi really is about to end. Shion stood up and brushed the dust off her backside. But the chapter's... The chapter's not over yet.
Roll credits. Roll credits.
No, but the chapter's not over.
And then nothing happened. The end.
After watching her do so, I returned my eyes to the final ceremony of the Watanagashi festival below me. Seriously, though, what was that sound, anyway? It was kind of unpleasant and creepy. Okay, so why was Keiichi the only one who didn't seem to hear anything? Because Tomatake mentioned he heard a sound. What?
Oh? What sound?
The sound. You know, the banging noise. It was really loud, wasn't it? I was giving her a blank expression, so Shion stared hard at me. I stared hard at her, too.
Sorry, Shion. Could you give me the short version? What was making noise?
Wait, Kei-chan, it didn't bother you? When all's said and done, it was like we were speaking two different languages.
Ian, explain it to me without jokes from the beginning, will you? Was this about a noise?
Cicadas in the middle of the night, let's go! Kei-chan, you quit joking around too. Really, honestly, it didn't bother you? Neither of us was giving any ground, and both of us were staring at the other in disbelief. We were answering questions with more questions, with no sign of an actual conversation in sight.
Almost like this game.
Baffled, I held in the urge to shout at her, and ask politely one more time.
I guess this really is Shion's question arc. I'm going to ask one more time, okay? I'll ask the questions.
Okay. But, like, Keiichi's the only one who didn't hear it. What?
Yeah, even Tomatake commented on it.
Yeah, he said there was, like, a noise like someone jumping up and down.
Yeah, and he's so normal.
Shion nodded silently.
Okay, here goes. You said there was a sound. What are you talking about?
The banging sound. It was like a kid jumping up and down on floorboards, somewhere far away. It really didn't bother you?
There was nothing to be bothered by. When did you hear this? I never heard anything.
Wait, Kei-chan, are you serious? Shion, as if she didn't understand my plain and simple answer, pressed me further, her
This
expression
is the arc
serious.
where Keiichi is hard of hearing.
Yeah, I'm sure that's all that's going on, definitely. I have no clue what she's talking about, but if it has Shion acting like this, whatever it was, it gave me the creeps and sent a chill down my spine. It was while we were looking around the inside of the ritual storehouse with Takano-san. About the time she started her stories, I think it was. I think that's correct. Little by little. Louder and louder. Off and on. She heard a banging sound, like a child jumping on distant floorboards.
That can't be true. Don't start trying to scare me after all of that.
I didn't hear anything at all. In fact, it was so utterly silent in there that my own heartbeat was almost deafening. I'm inclined to believe that Keiichi is wrong, so... Please don't try to scare me either, Kei-chan. It was like something was making noise in time with Takano's scary stories, and I was totally creeped out the whole time. The chill rose from my spine to the back of my head. My blood turned cold as it crawled up my body. When it reached my head, my mind froze over. You and Takano-san weren't paying attention to it at all, so I pretended not to hear it either, but didn't Takano-san mention that, like, wasn't it mentioned that she checked around to make sure that everything was normal?
That nothing had happened.
Weird.
Both Shion and Takano did that, yeah.
I pretended not to hear it either, but you heard it, right? It happened a bunch of times, and it was really loud. Shion's eyes were begging me to tell her I heard it. I had no doubt, however, that my own eyes suggested something entirely different. A "you've gotta be kidding" look. In that storehouse, we were surrounded by brutal ritual tools that looked like they were from another planet, listening to terrifying old stories. That's a good picture, Grumble, thank you. The whole time, Shion had been hearing a sound that we couldn't hear, by herself. Should that make Shion, who heard it, tremble, or should it make me, who didn't hear it, tremble? I didn't know the answer to that at the time.
Keiichi too stupid to realize that Tomotake was talking about the same thing.
For now, Shion seemed to have made that decision before I did.
What are you laughing about?
I really got you, Kei-chan! I was fibbing the whole time!
What?
Shion laughed, saying how easily scared I was, and clapped me on the back. Her smile seemed somehow artificial, and it actually made me feel worse. Gee, I wonder
almost
why.
Almost like it was drawn onto her face.
Then, after leaving me with 2 or 3 generic, diplomatic goodbye phrases, she left, almost like she was running away. Almost... Okay, so she didn't say as if. He said almost like. That's totally different.
You gotta understand, it's a different phrase.
I see. All I could do was look after her, as if my mouth was agape. At the end of the day, it was as if I didn't have any clue what was going on. She unlatched it off and said she'd been lying, but she couldn't possibly have been lying. Of course
It was
not.
as if she was lying about lying.
And now that I think back, Tomatake-san said the same thing, didn't he? Okay, we're gaining a little bit of the IQ back.
A little slow on the uptake.
We're getting a little shot of IQ back into our little brain, okay?
He's a little slow, but he's got the spirit.
I could clearly hear some noises like someone jumping up and down. I was getting pretty nervous. Tomatake-san, the most neutral party present at the time, had said he'd heard something. The most neutral party? Why does that feel not true? Then, that noise, it was real? The banging sounds. Sounds as though a child was jumping up and down on some kind of floorboards far away.
That was one word from as if. Incredible.
Oyashiro-sama's curse, which happens every year, might happen again tonight. The most plausible victim candidates were Takano-san, Tomatake-san, Shion, and me. The bustling of the people sounded further away than I would have liked, and the sounds of the insects sounded too close for comfort. I'm near so much human warmth, and yet I can't ever go back there again. That was the ominous idea that had sprouted in my mind. Then, all of a sudden, I was pounced on from behind, causing my heart to lurch. It's probably just... yeah.
Keiichi, we found you.
Wah! Oh, I accidentally hit something. My bad. It was Rika-chan. When I turned around, Mion and Rena were there too. We finally found you. Now it's time for the gut-spilling ceremony. Now we just need to find Satoko.
Everyone got split up this year. We should make sure we have somewhere to meet up afterwards next year. How?
You're right. It's a festival, so we should all be together. I like how these two like sentences could be taken as like two completely separate sentences. Everyone got split up this year into about 5 pieces each, like McDonald's Happy Meal.
Or like a construction manager?
No, like a McDonald's Happy Meal. I listened to Mion's happy declaration with a little bit of guilt.
Keiichi, did you root for me while I was dancing?
Oh, she knows. She knows.
Yeah, I saw it all. You did a great job all the way through. No mistakes either.
Oh yeah, she sees right through him.
Yeah, that's right, Rika-chan. That didn't count as a mistake.
I tensed up as I realized I'd made a mistake of my own, and was tempted to say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
He could have just said that, like, he left for the bathroom and got lost or something.
Mion slapped a hand onto my shoulder a little roughly, almost
That's
as
what I
if
would
she
do.
knew that I hadn't been at Rika's offertory dance.
Bro, it's rural Japan. It's the wilderness and the woods. The entire forest is your bathroom.
A gross sweat broke out all over my body. Did you do it too, Kei-chan? Did you get some cotton and send it down the stream? You haven't yet, right? Is what I could feel her saying. Without the courage to tell any more lies, I lifelessly shook my head.
Huh? You haven't, Keiichi-kun? You should go now or it'll be all over. Or it'll be over. It'll be over.
Sorry, this is my first Watanagashi, so I don't really understand the rules and stuff.
That's right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Mion took my hand, and we started walking down the stone steps. Hey, Kei-chan. He said what?
What?
Did you see Shion? My heart skipped another beat. Maybe Mion could sense my surprise through my hand.
No, well, I sort of think I saw her. You two look so alike, though, so it might have been you.
You wouldn't have gotten that wrong. We're wearing different clothes.
Huh? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Mion's momentary silence was like a death grip upon me.
Death grips?
Death grips?
Oh
Death
my
grips?
God. I just can't do... I just can't do anything about that Shion. Well, it's her we're talking about, so we can just leave her be. Mion's expression returned to her former, usual smile, and we continued down the stone steps, her firmly pulling my hand along. Why do I feel like the entire group sees right through us?
Maybe because he
Because
immediately
they
tried
do?
to lie and made a massive blunder.
Because he made an obvious lie, and it was very obvious that they all noticed.
Maybe it was Oyashiro-sama's curse. There's no way to know, really.
Oyashiro-sama.
Well, I'm
forced
sure glad
Keiichi
nothing
to
happened.
Bullshit
Yeah.
poorly.
Ooh, we got differently colored notebooks. How nice.
Oh, one for boys and one for girls.
And then we got...
And the hallway for
this one
girls.
looks purple.
The hallway for
Anyway,
girls.
so we got Scrapbook 4, Scrapbook 5, and After the Festival.
Okay, so purple, so one for kings and one for girls.
Whoa.
I believe this is Takano-san, so...
Watanagashi. The rite of Watanagashi is performed during a village festival every June, even now. But reading back to its origin turns up a seriously sanguine ceremony. How's that for alliteration? Originally, Watanagashi would happen at certain intervals, and after receiving Oyashiro-sama's trust, they chose a sacrifice. Then, the entire village would kidnap, demon away, the person, and ceremonially dissect and devour them in a feast. The rules that determine the intervals are shrouded in mystery. This is because the ceremonies occurred extremely irregularly. There's a theory that it was determined based on astrological fortune-telling, but it isn't too convincing. The residents of ancient Onegafuchi village firmly believed they were half-man, half-demon transcendents, and that they were more valuable than humans were, and they forced people within and without to accept that. Perhaps the act of kidnapping and eating people was done to prove that they were higher up on the food chain. This is just a hypothesis, but maybe the Rite of Watanagashi was a political event for the purpose of being an outlet for, or outright diverting the attention of, the villagers of the isolated Onegafuchi village. In case any of their complaints or ceremonies or dissatisfactions grew serious. If that was the main reason these ceremonies were held, then it's easy to explain how erratic they were. Take a shit.
Interesting that they take place regularly now, and it seems that the curse does as well. That does fit in with my swamp gas theory, though. So
notably, only one of the victims each year is demoned away. Going by the way it's, explained.
It's also occurred to me that I haven't even brought up my swamp gas theory, in a session, so YouTube has no idea what I'm talking about.
You're just a schizo who likes talking about swamp gas.
Yeah.
Oh, one of our YouTube viewers.
I'll get to the swamp gas theory when we get to the next thingy. Anyway.
Anyone else want to do this, or should I as well? Alright. The alleged importance of the implements. I can't find anything that gives a concrete description on what the ritual implements were like. They were, however, real, and there definitely existed a multitude of different kinds. One source states that the implements used in the Watanagashi rite alone numbered 200. The obvious question, then, is why they required such a myriad of them. The rite of Watanagashi was to kidnap people through the demoning away, dissect them, and eat them. I believe the tools were for dissection and restraining, but 200 of them is far too many. Generally, tools evolve in such a way as to reach a solution for a certain problem. Once you've reached the ultimate goal, that is, attained a certain level of efficiency, the tool's evolution normally stops there. Regardless, why would they have created so many different kinds? One of the cultural elements responsible for diversification over time is that of entertainment. Tools used for entertainment would evolve over time and branch out. Unlike normal tools, reaching the ultimate goal would be more of a dead end, and in searching for the next goal, they would split into many different subtypes. So then, perhaps it's not a stretch to suggest that these 200-plus implements had some entertainment value. This is just a hypothesis, of course, but maybe the human dissection process was viewed as a type of entertainment.
My favorite.
The three families of old would develop one new implement, dissection tool, after another, and each was varied, novel, and attracted spectators to keep them from growing bored. It's not unimaginable. All of them have to be enshrined within that storehouse. There isn't much longer until the night of Watanagashi. Though its original intent has been lost, I will reveal the secrets of the traditional ceremonial night within the ritual storehouse. I can't restrain my excitement. Watanagashi cannot come soon enough.
She really is the most relatable character.
Take a shit.
Take a shit, everybody. And then we got After the Festival, which I assume is going to be an Ooishi scene, so have fun,
Shit
GM.
yourself in fear.
After the Festival.
That's the office. That's the office, alright.
Late that night, tensions in the police station were strained. In the silence, many of the staff members' eyes shifted back and forth between the clock and their telephones, counting the seconds in that stifled atmosphere. Kumagaya-kun burst in, with a young guy trailing behind him.
Ooishi-san, I've got the autopsy results. The court physician just got here. I'm ready to go, sir. I head straight for the burned body's location.
Tally-ho!
Kuma-chan, why have you suddenly become British? Things have gotten a bit
All
complicated.
cops have to be British. They're bobbies.
They appear to be having a very difficult time determining who the victim is.
They're having a hard time determining who it is? Huh?
It's a burned body. They just said it.
Did they?
Could they have been...
Am I stupid?
Yeah.
Yeah, head straight for the burn body's
Oh.
location.
I
Yes,
see.
you are.
Burned this
You're
time,
Casey,
I
don't worry.
see.
Could they have been dismembered?
Nope. Cooked to a nice light brown.
Like
A real
pub.
Gordon Ramsay.
He spoke in sportive tones, but the meaning behind his words was heavy. The staff gave a collective sigh.
All the way. Head to toe.
Completely blackened, it seems. Probably smells terrible, too. What a shame it is to be Gifu-san.
Cooked with no possessions. What do you mean Gifu-san? Huh?
The coroner.
Probably their court physician
I see.
who had to do the autopsy.
Then discarded outside the prefecture. At worst, it would have taken a week for the body to be identified. The fact that they'd sniffed it out tonight was huge. Actually, wait. Outside the prefecture, is Gifu-san, is he referring to the location with san? Because if so, that's awesome. Anyway,
I'm pretty sure it's meant to be a person.
the fact that
Probably
they'd
not.
sniffed it out tonight was huge.
Komiyama-kun and a few others are performing a thorough night raid on the dentist in Okinomiya. All we can do is hope a tooth matches some medical records. Sorry. Could someone go buy me two or so boxes of strong cigarettes? Also, some donuts. Maybe some Twinkies, too.
What about cream puffs? 4 jumbo ones.
Deep fried.
Oh,
Twinkies.
yeah. Jumbo cream puffs. Get some dongo in there. Really packing it
Some
down.
cheesy puffs.
Anyway, Ooishi,
Yeah.
the young guy answered an affirmation and darted out into the hallway.
We did an excellent job finding it this year. It could be that the people who disappeared in past years were scattered outside the prefecture like this too.
Then why not bury them? Or sink them into the Sea of Japan, or Lake Biwa, or somewhere like that.
Why though? As on the pattern been so far, one person dies, another disappears.
Kuma-chan. The corpse was inside an oil drum. Unrestrained and cooked. They probably burned him after strangling him.
In an oil drum?
They knew it would be found.
So what you mean is, from the beginning, they didn't want a person to disappear this year?
Not so much as they just aren't related. The person didn't disappear. In fact, whoever did it seems to have wanted to make a show of it.
You mean, it could be a warning?
He folded his arms, and then heaved a long and heavy sigh.
That might have been the case had it happened in town. If they'd messed up, taking the victim far away and burning them alive wouldn't have been noticed. If they meant it as a warning, they should have done it closer to Hinamizawa. They wanted to emphasize the fact that they killed the victim, but instead of doing it somewhere for dramatic effect, they did it outside the prefecture. Did they want to emphasize it, or hide it? Boy, I do wonder what Oyashiro-sama is up to this year.
But whose phone? A telephone ring cut through the heavy silence. A staff member nearby snatched up the receiver.
Oishi-san, it's Komiyama. They have it. The dental clinic in Okinomiya fixed the wisdom tooth 3 years ago.
What about the records?
Complete with x-rays.
Well, I feel bad for waking up the dentist before dawn. Kuma-chan, get out there as soon as you get the records from Komiyama-kun.
Will do. Oh, it's the chief. Thank you for coming out at this hour. Ooishi-san, my apologies for my lateness. What's the situation?
Well, it's... What do you see? We're all getting fired up. Whoa!
Tally-ho!
Tally-ho!
Hard-boiled
Why do all the
detective.
other officers sound the same?
What
the
is
fuck?
with
This is a mystery for its own right.
Ooishi's style of speech is so weird. What is he saying half the time?
He's the goat.
Wow!
Yeah.
Man just said,
Take a
wow!
You're supposed to read it.
finding a burned corpse.
You're actually supposed to read it like a, what was it? The Down with the Sickness. Ooh,
Wow! Anyway, moving forward. I let out a great... It was like the morning had just arrived just as I got to sleep. Oh, I know that feeling, buddy. As Mom set up breakfast, she gave me a pained smile.
What's the matter, Kate? What's the matter, Kate? I'll try keeping it. What's the matter, Katie?
I can barely hear
sleep
you.
last night.
No. If you de-intensify the smoker voice a bit, you can make Casey's mom just Marge Simpson.
What's the matter, Katie? What time did you go to sleep last night?
That is a voice. I'm not sure that's quite Marge, but it's fine.
It's close.
Is it?
Close enough, at least.
Okay, this is Keiichi's line, by the way.
Well, I wanted to go to sleep at midnight, but I had some trouble with that.
You were probably worked up from the festival.
Yeah, that's definitely Marge.
What was that? What the fuck was that?
That's Marge Simpson. No, that's not it. Crunch, crunch.
I crunched down hard on the pickled radish to hide my embarrassment.
I thought you'd have like cereal.
Not
You know what you
anymore.
mentioned in
Pickled radish
chapter 1,
cereal.
Tehate, about Keiichi's breakfasts being worse after the Onikakushi?
No, it wasn't that his breakfast was worse. It was that he kept, like, describing the food as being bland and flavorless, like he was trying not to engage with it.
Yeah, but now
It
it's
was
pickled
very
radish.
weird.
Yeah,
That's
but
worse
it's
than
kind of
flavorless.
crazy how his perception of food
Now
gets
it's
worse
now
after
it's something
the
more
Mad Eating
neutral.
Festival.
It's pickled radish.
It's his perception of food is intact, which is interesting. Crunch, crunch.
I did say crunch, crunch.
After all that happened yesterday, yeah, but I'm gonna say it. After all that
Oh.
happened
Crunch,
yesterday,
crunch.
and our discussion about the sound Shion had heard, crunch, crunch. That banging noise, like a child far away, jumping up and down on a wooden floor.
It sounded a little like crunch, crunch.
The story wouldn't get out of my head, so I had trouble sleeping. It was a long night, and I kept jumping at the slight sounds of a faraway tree branches, which should have been either unbearable or too insignificant to notice.
Hearable.
Unhearable.
Unhearable.
Wait, did he say unhearable? Oh, unhearable, or too insignificant to notice. When I woke up to the morning sunlight and birds chirping, it made me feel pretty shamed about it, but I felt far from refreshed this morning.
Keiichi-kun, good morning. Huh? Keiichi-kun, your eyes are all red. Why is that? Why?
We're about to go sick
Stoned as
mode.
fuck.
He
Stoned
is.
as fuck.
Dude, weed. Oh, hey, good morning. I didn't get much sleep last night, so I'm sleep deprived today. Oh.
Nice yawn.
The festival yesterday was a lot of fun. Rena's excitement took a long time to go to sleep, so I took a long time to go to sleep too. To sleep. That was a weird sentence.
I'm pretty sure
I got
was,
lost in that sentence. I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure that sentence was weird on purpose.
It's probably weird in Japanese too.
In Rena's case, her excitement seemed to be wide awake. Okay, so it was weird on purpose. Got it.
They should have this kind of festival more often, so we can have lots of fun together again. How?
Lots of fun together? Yeah.
We're not talking about the festival yesterday. It made me remember everything I had nearly forgotten from last night. And then the music cut out. The inside
And
of
then
the
the music
ritual
cut back in.
storehouse had been so utterly different from the relaxed, bright, everyday life in Hinamizawa. All those stories that Takano-san told me too. The mysterious incidents that occurred on the day of the Watanagashi every year. The strange incidents where one person would die and one would disappear. The old stories of Hinamizawa flickering like a candle behind them. The numerous and horrifying traditions of Onigafuchi village. The villagers with demon blood in them. The terrible cannibalistic feasts. The poor sacrifices kidnapped from human villages, victims of the Onakakushi. To quell the rage of Oyashiro-sama, the ritual involving living sacrifices, there were also many, many others. There were so many stories that just remembering them put me in a foul mood. Most of them weren't fiction either. They were true. We didn't need to fear them just because they were real, though.
No
Since all
lie.
of it happened so long ago. Such a very long time ago.
Where's Michan? She's late.
Yeah, we don't need to think about any of that, Keiichi. Let's go to school.
Huh?
Before I realized it, we had arrived at the place where we'd usually meet with Mion. Probably because I was so lost in thought.
We agreed that if she wasn't here by now, we could just go on ahead, right? Should we?
Mion being late wasn't too rare an occurrence, but today she was unusually late. A few of the ominous tales from the night before came back to life in my mind again. Who would die this year, and who would disappear? It couldn't have been Mion.
What should we do, Keiichi-kun? If we don't get going, we'll be late.
You'll be here. She didn't call to tell us she'd be staying home today, right? Let's just wait 5 more minutes, okay?
She ain't showing up, is she? And I looked at her watch and seemed a little worried, but then she nodded with a satisfied smile, and nothing bad happened after this point. If we had to wait 5 minutes, we'd have to run as fast as we could to school or we'd be late. As soon as I thought that, we spotted Mion, running towards us, out of breath. Oh, okay. Wait, it could be Shion, though.
Michan! You're late!
You waited? You should have just gone on ahead. Mion was breathing heavily, and her face was all red. Her house was right down this road, wasn't it? It wasn't far enough away for her to end up like this, was it? Almost as if she was busy murdering people the previous night.
Michan! Are you not feeling well?
Huh? Now that she mentioned it, Rena pushed Mion's bangs away and put her hand to her forehead. Rena, your hand is pretty cold.
Michan! You're a little bit warm.
It's no big deal. Give it half a day and I'll be as fit as a fiddle.
Are you really okay? You don't have to push yourself, you know?
What's this? Kate-chan, are you worried about me? That's nice of you. That answer wasn't like Mion at all. She must have had it pretty bad.
I think you shouldn't push yourself so hard. We can tell the teacher you had to take the day off.
I'm fine. I took some medicine. I think it's already working. Mion forced an energetic expression onto her face and flexed her biceps at us.
What do you want to bet she took the? What do you want to bet she took the drugs that makes you kill yourself?
God, I hope so.
What the hell? So mean.
He was so real for this.
Okay, then let's go. Don't overdo it. But, of course, there's the time.
Okay, so the thing is, the drug does make you kill yourself, but the high is incredible before that.
Seemed pretty worth it.
It's worth it.
What? We need to run or we won't make it!
This morning sure is thrilling. Maybe it's just what I need to shake off this slowness. Let's run. Hey, wait. You're sick. Don't go overboard. Mion began to run vigorously anyway.
Mi-chan is older than us, right? She knows her own body better than anyone.
We decided to leave it at that and assume she was fine.
Great, then we should get going too.
We began to run after Mion. Well, that was very quick club music. The school looked the same as always. The hours passed listlessly and my lack of sleep took its toll. If there was a sport where people competed by sleeping, I'd be world champion right now. The trick to overcoming this sort of dangerous situation was to hold your pencil upside down. Why, you ask? So you don't draw strange patterns all over your notes while half asleep. If you were holding your pencil upside down, that wouldn't happen, would it? You're really smart, Keiichi. Bump, bump, bump. Bump, bump, bump. Something that felt like an eraser hit me in the head 6 times.
Ow, ow! What was that for, Satoko?
I don't know if our Satoko is still here. I believe he had something to do
I
tonight.
haven't done a single thing.
I will actually have to go for a short bit
Yeah.
in like 5 minutes.
Who else would play a prank on me like this? Oh, it was chalk, not an eraser. Eh?
At least you get some Satoko in.
There's a needle in the chalk.
Behind me, like a female outlaw might hold razors, was the teacher's shadow, holding 3 pieces of chalk in each hand. Is this a reference to that fucking commercial?
This is also a
Are you serious?
This is also a Tsukihime reference. Trust.
Is
just
it?
like CL would CL would hold the black keys, the
But, like,
giant
there was
fucking
that
throwing
one-
swords.
But there was like that one commercial. You know the commercial I'm talking about, right? Where the teacher
I have
was
no
like,
idea what you're talking
no,
about.
there was like a Japanese commercial where the teacher was like machine gunning chalk at the student, and he's just like dodging it like it's the Matrix.
I've
It was
seen
kind
that.
of awesome. And then
I think
she
this is
turns
purely a Tsukihime reference.
Yeah, but
I
like,
will,
okay,
I will
but, like,
actually
she
post
turns,
the image in chat.
She turns into like a chalk cannon. Anyway, holding 3 pieces of chalk in each hand. Rumble, rumble, rumble.
My Barakun, go and wash your face.
Holy shit!
That was a very aggressive Chie.
Right, gladly.
That alone was enough to wake me up, but I flew out into the hallway,
Wake
as
me
if
up
shoved
inside.
out by the pressure exuded by the teacher's sheer power.
He's getting femdom, damn.
Again.
By
It keeps
everyone in town, apparently, including the guys.
It's mostly women.
CL is the village bicycle. Or not CL, Keiichi. Fuck. Words.
Okay, anyway, who's CL?
The Tsukihime character that she
Tsukihime.
is a reference to.
Oh,
But I meant to say Keiichi.
I see.
Yeah, like I said, I posted the image for the like. That's definitely what the chalk bit is referencing.
Let me see. I get it. If I was going to wash my face anyway, then I would rather use the sinks out front rather than the ones in the dark restroom. Thinking that, I left the hallway and went to the entrance.
I'll be right back.
Alright.
All right.
The sunlight was strong. So strong you wouldn't think it was June. What an odd thing to say.
You think it's August, actually?
I don't know if that's quite what's going on, but just there have been a lot of just why would you say that moments this chapter, I feel. I turned the faucet, and with a lifeless bubbling noise, lukewarm water came pouring out. I think the biggest why would you say that moment so far was Keiichi saying as if if those stories had nothing to do with me, then I had nothing to worry about. Like, what do you mean if? You just moved here. How could you possibly have any doubt? Anyway, if I let it run for a few moments, would it get cold? I looked at it absent-mindedly for a while. I knew you'd choose these things, Kei-chan. The ones out front just feel better, don't they?
Meow? Ooh, no cutting class now.
Oh no, the yawning is contagious. I stuck my hands into the water to find that it had gotten so cold that it seemed strange that it had ever been warm.
That's also why would you say that moment?
No, I think this is just a metaphor. I don't think this one's too deep, surely.
What is the metaphor for?
This is
not what a metaphor is.
This is like the story was warm at one point and now it's cold.
You're reading way too much into it.
No, this is an actual metaphor. What are you talking about?
Being greeted by your friend is such a cold thing to happen in a story, guys.
Okay, listen, I'm cooking and you cannot prove me otherwise.
You're
scooped
cooked.
It up.
You're cooked with no possessions,
face.
just like that body.
Once I was done, I moved out of the way and Mion did the same.
Mion, how's your cold doing? You're sleepy because of the medicine, not from lack of sleep, right?
Actually, this is a secret, but after the festival yesterday, I got wrapped up in the party my relatives were having. And, well, I had a bit. A bit. She made a gesture like she was tilting a cup into her mouth. You can't see it, but I'm doing that gesture right now.
Don't do that, please.
Which means you didn't have a cold or anything.
Are you hungover? How old are you?
Give me a break. I really don't feel well, you know. I suppose she'd be feeling lousy either way. Still, you treat holds and hangovers in completely different ways.
I was worried over nothing. Man, I guess that's just like you, Mion.
Mion scratched her head, a little embarrassed. She didn't seem to be feeling well, but now that I knew that it was a hangover, I didn't need to worry too much. It would go away with time, after all. Oh, but my head really is pounding, so the teacher told me I should go home early.
You cheater! You going home now, Mion?
Now that I looked again, Mion had her bag with her. She must have been on her way home. Yep, I feel bad about it, though. I'll get some rest at home like a good girl. Sorry, I can't make it to the club. Would you take over as leader for today, Kei-chan?
I don't know if that will happen. We have that unspoken rule where we don't do the club unless everyone is there. We never did it when you had to go to your part-time job, did we?
Mion laughed wryly, saying we didn't need to worry about her. No matter how much fun we have, though, I think that feeling guilty about friends who can't share it is the sign of a really fantastic friendship. In that sense, the club Mion has created is a wonderful thing. As I thought about it, the moisture on my washed face dried up. I suppose we were talking too much. If I didn't get back to the classroom soon, I could get in trouble.
Okay, later. I'm going back. Careful on your way home. Don't wobble into a sewer or a brook, got it?
I left it at that, turned around, and started heading back into the classroom. Oh, one more thing, Kei-chan. Has anything good happened after someone says one more thing in this game?
Columbo.
Yeah, Columbo's been pretty good.
Columbo isn't in this game!
You're looking at Columbo right now. What are you talking about?
That's not Columbo!
That's the Columbo scene.
Who is it?
Mion stopped me and I turned my head to listen.
What's up?
This may sound weird, but don't think too hard about it.
Well, that depends on what it is.
Last night, near the end of the festival, did you see Tomatake-san or Takano-san anywhere? I suddenly tensed up. You know Tomatake-san and Takano-san, right? You remember, Kei-chan, when the four of you were talking during setup the day before? If I could, I wanted to forget about sneaking into the storehouse that night as soon as possible. So hearing the names of the people I was with at the time really got to me. Besides that, though, why was Mion asking me a question like that? I ended up staring at her, unable to answer immediately. Was she asking to see if I had seen them or not? Or was she asking the question knowing that I had? I couldn't tell. Didn't she say after the festival, though?
Yeah, after the festival.
Oh, near the end of the festival.
Near the end.
Never mind.
Same thing.
Well, maybe? I might have seen them around. I don't know.
My vague response was clearly not to Mion's liking. What answer was she expecting from me? There was no way for me to know.
Saying maybe to a question like that is way more suspicious than saying yes or no.
I see. Then, one more question. On the same night, did you see Shion? My heart leapt into my throat again. The tiny needles buried underneath Mion's words pricked into me.
Didn't you ask me that yesterday? I think I told you I wasn't sure if I had or not.
Did you? I guess I just thought I'd get a different answer if I asked you again. I suddenly noticed something in Mion's eyes. Something indescribable. Yeah!
A gradient.
Yeah!
Not even a day. Not even a full day.
Tomatake-san and Takano-san. Shion, too. She was asking me about them. There was no doubt about it. Last night, the four of us snuck into the ritual storehouse, and she knew everything. So what? There's not really a curse anyway. That's right. Even Shion and Takano-san said yesterday during the festival that there was no curse. And rather than a curse, it was the doing of the villagers. My blood curdled. Mion was, almost without a doubt, aware that we snuck into the storehouse? Then just fucking tell her! It was nothing strange. I screwed up real bad flipping on the light switch last night. No shit, dummy! If Mion had been searching for me, it was simple to imagine that she had seen that momentary light and come to find out what was going on. Did you really not see her?
Why are you so intent on knowing if I did or not?
It's not important. It's just that there are some people who are speaking poorly of Tomatake-san, Takano-san, Shion, and you, Kei-chan. I didn't really hear what they were saying, though. Oh, yeah! Yeah! Oh, only good things can come from this. Unpleasant sweat dripped down my arms, and the sound of it hanging from my pink fingertips was so annoyingly loud. Takano really is the most relatable character. I don't believe that you were doing something bad. I just wanted to ask a bit about it, so I did. Sorry for making you uncomfortable, okay? I found myself unable to reply. My reaction must have made it obvious what the truth was, and yet I couldn't explain myself. Kei-chan, you weren't with Tomatake-san, Takano-san, or Shion, right?
Yeah.
I finally wrung out an answer between ragged breaths. Mion's expression softened a little. That's good. I'll have to tell them. You weren't involved in anything bad, Kei-chan, so I'll make sure to tell everyone. Yeah, please do. Tell them I wasn't doing anything bad. To everyone, make sure. Everyone. Who is everyone? Okay, later. I'll be better tomorrow. Bye-bye. Bye, Mion. Have a good time. Wait, Mion! What do you mean by everyone? Just then, a freezing cold hand touched the back of my neck.
Hey! You're late, Maibara-kun. How long does it take you to wash your face?
It was the teacher. I was taking so long she came out to get me.
I'm sorry. I was just speaking to Mion.
I turned around, but Mion had crossed through the schoolyard without me realizing it and was now standing at the gate.
Come, back to your studies. Quickly now.
You don't even teach me anything! The teacher was being insistent. We returned to the entrance.
She teaches you how to make curry.
She just wants you to get back into the room to teach yourself things.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
The most important
You should
skill.
teach yourself. Now.
You should educate yourself now.
I looked back one more time, and Mion was nowhere in sight. Why do I feel like this is also a metaphor about him being emotionally distant with Mion?
Is there a single thing that's not a metaphor?
I'm literally right. I'm literally correct. Anyway.
But if it's literal, like, is it really a metaphor?
Keiichi, you haven't seemed well all day.
I think that's a metaphor for your state of mind.
It's surely because he hadn't had far too much fun yesterday.
It's a metaphor for having fun and being yourself.
You guys are making fun of me for this, but you'll regret it one day when I'm right. When I'm so right about everything, and you won't even believe it. You won't even believe how right I am. You'll be like, there's no way he's right about this.
You're sounding very much like Keiichi right now.
No, I'm not like Keiichi because I'm right. That's the difference.
That's a pretty Keiichi core thing to say.
Yeah.
Shut up! Anyway, let's move on.
I don't want to be told that by the one who got lost. Your face was all red and you were clearly crying.
Nearly crying.
Satoko-chan was so cute last night. How?
My friends did their best to try and cheer me up, but it didn't lighten my mood. Uh-oh. This is usually, based on Onakagashi, this is usually when things get bad, when he's not cheered up by this.
Lightening his mood is a metaphor for turning on the light switch in the storehouse.
Yeah, basically. Was it far worse than I thought? Had I really done something that terrible last night? Yes! Yes, you fucking moron! You fucking dumbass! These thoughts remain with me for the rest of the day. Did they
Bye,
say that?
Keiichi-kun.
Just by the way, did they say that Rika was the one who changed the padlock? Isn't she also gonna get in trouble for this?
She is not able to get in trouble, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
Rika's innocent of everything.
But, like, I'm pretty sure it was mentioned that she specifically got a shitty padlock.
Yes, but
I'll
like,
see you
who would
tomorrow.
hold her accountable?
She has a master lock. Anyway. By the time I realized it, I was in front of my own house.
Bee-chan had a cold, right? Could you have a cold too, Keiichi-kun? Could you?
I'm fine. I may look scrawny, but I've never missed school because of a cold.
Idiots never catch colds.
That's true.
Both you and Mii-chan didn't look so good today, though.
Thanks for worrying about me. I'm fine. Idiots don't catch colds, remember?
Real time, right?
Real time.
Fuck off!
Rina smiled, then waved to me and left.
This is a metaphor for Ryukishi waving at you.
That's not... Okay, this is a metaphor for whew. Cause there's like an owl and you can't see it.
I was about to say.
And owls are wise and Keiichi is about to become wise. It's such a good metaphor.
So this line represents that his shoulders are bobbing up and down from breathing heavily.
This line represents the noise that was made yesterday in the shed.
Oh, true. You're right.
Oh my god! It's the metaphor for like fishing bobbers, right? Just before they go underwater.
Oh, and how Ooishi's using him as bait?
With my shoulders bobbing up and down from breathing heavily, I entered the house.
Bravo, Ryukishi. Such a deep writing.
As soon as I got back in, Mom called out to me, which was a reference to my mom calling out to me.
It's actually a reference to the great families, because mother is a part of a family.
Alright, we got Keiichi.
What?
Keiichi, I'm sorry, but could you go to the library and return a few books for me?
This is a metaphor for delivering knowledge.
This is true. I like how we were talking about Ooishi, who called using the library fake name last chapter, and Ryukishi immediately writes about the library. Huh? I don't feel like it.
Your dad and I have to wait inside the house for a phone call right now, so we can't leave. I need to return them today. Could you please do it?
Why wouldn't you just make time beforehand? What?
This is a metaphor for Keiichi's mother being bad at scheduling.
I am back with cheesecake.
Job.
Does anything happen like the last 15 minutes?
Lots of metaphors.
Oh my god, shut up! I'm right. I'm literally right. The biggest thing that happened was that Mion came up to us and was asking us about
very pointed questions.
Yeah, certain questions. This is the most important line probably. Even though it says it's not important, just ignore that part. Did it have to do with Dad's job? No point in arguing if they bring that up. So now we're gonna have to go to the bookstore to return some books.
It's actually a library.
A library.
You don't return books to a bookstore.
You get a refund. I read this book. I'm done with it.
I actually turned in a book for a refund at a bookstore once, so maybe
you
it's...
can actually do that. I was gonna say. I have a bookstore near me, and they let you do that.
That's just a scam.
Oh, you don't?
How is that a scam?
It's a little past Hinamizawa station.
Just then, the phone rang. My parents' faces immediately turned grim. It was Oyashiro-sama calling. Mom snatched up the receiver.
Hello, Maibara speaking. I'm sorry? Yes, he's right here.
I'm sorry. She thrust the receiver at my face.
It's for you, Keiichi. Don't take too long, okay?
It's the base department.
I tried to ask who it was from, but asking the person on the phone directly would be faster. I have a feeling I already know, but let's see.
Hello?
Never mind. Ah, this is Sonozaki. Well, the younger one. Hello.
Who do you think it was from?
I thought it was gonna be Ooishi.
The Ooishi is just going to randomly call up a kid.
That would be awesome. That would be, like, in line with his behavior so far.
Can I talk to your son?
Ah, this is Sonozaki. Well, the younger one. Hello. Do you have time to talk right now? It was Shion. The older sister had a hangover today, but the younger made no reference to it.
Shion? I thought you'd be sleeping in today with a hangover, same as Mion.
What? Mion had a hangover? That's so like her!
Amy's girl having a hangover?
She laughed warmly, but Mom glared at me, silently telling me to finish up.
Oops, sorry. My parents are waiting for an important call, so I can't talk for too long. What do you need?
There's something I wanted to talk about, but if we can't talk long, I guess that's that. She sounded a little disappointed. What would Shion want to talk to me about? Now I was interested.
And how about we meet in person? If you could show me where the library is too, that would be great.
You mean the public library near the station? Yes, that's fine. I go past there on my way to work anyway.
Okay, then you know where I usually meet up with Mion? At that intersection where the small path from the Sonozaki house splits?
Oh, Geisha. Did I not tell you? I don't live at the main house. I live in Okinomiya. If you could meet by the ticket machines at Okinomiya Station, that would be great. Main house? Living in Okinomiya? Now that she mentioned it, it's always seemed like the Sonozaki sisters weren't communicating. Did they live in different houses? Wasn't this already brought up?
It feels like Keiichi has basically forgotten that they're actually two different people. Like, the way he's talking.
He's still not convinced that Mion isn't Shion.
Okay, to be fair though, we could be talking to Mion right now, and we would have no way of knowing. So...
I mean, she didn't introduce herself as Shion. She just said the younger.
That... I don't think even if she introduced herself as Shion, it would change the situation.
But Ryuki, she wouldn't lie to you?
Oh! Of course!
He would never lie to me.
It's a metaphor for how Ryukishi has ever told a lie in his life.
It's a metaphor for how the author would never mislead you in a murder mystery. Also, now that she mentioned it, Rena never said she'd never met the younger sister, despite going over to play sometimes.
Let's meet at the station then. I go there right away. Bye.
I set the receiver down, and Mom immediately thrust a large pile of library books in my face. 6 volumes of long-form mystery novels!
It's a metaphor.
Mom had her own hobbies. So Mom's hobby is mystery novels. Cool.
She's probably in a book club with Takano.
Thank you, Keiichi. Be back by nightfall.
Takano does seem like someone who would be in a book club.
Do you think they talk
Absolutely.
about true crime podcasts?
Like, are you kidding me?
Absolutely.
I feel like she's like the specific kind of person most likely to be in a book club.
Yeah, a little bit. We're probably being called out directly. Anyway.
Got it. Okay, I'm going.
Yeah, fuck you, reader.
I suppose I changed my clothes and grabbed my bike key. I mean, honestly,
Give the Higurashi games back to the library.
So based. I climbed the stairs to my bedroom. Shion had been waiting for me already, so meeting up was a smooth process.
Wow, Mion never keeps her appointments. I mean, honestly.
Making my sister the standard for everything will get you in trouble. Shion seemed a little unsteady, too. She was drinking with Mion last night, wasn't she? Or perhaps she just is Mion. Keiichi, you're really slow on the uptake, aren't you?
You didn't get any sleep last night either, did you? Don't try and hide it. You definitely went home from school early.
Ooh, too bad. I've been at home all day in the first place. I'm smarter than Mion, after all. Hey, I don't think you can call playing hooky smarter. I mean, if you have a fucking hangover, kinda, yeah. Kinda is. You should finish your errand first. We don't have that much time. You're going to the library, right?
Yeah, thanks. My mom had to return some books by today. Is the library far?
No, it's really close by. As she said that, we spotted the signboard for the library almost immediately. Huh, nice. If it was this easy to find, then I guess I didn't need Shion to show me where it was after all. We rode around a bend, and the building was right there. And we were turning in some long-form mystery novels that were called Higurashi When They Cry for some reason.
Are these new CGs?
I think they are. These are...
I think this one is, yes.
Yep. Shishibone Public Library. We lived in the country, so I hadn't expected too much, but it was pretty big. The first floor was actually a government office, so the library was only on the second floor, but it still looked large enough to fit a decent collection of books. We passed through the automatic doors and were greeted by the cool breeze of an air curtain. The cicadas had been loud outside, but it was quiet inside the library, almost as if it was a library we were in. The air conditioning inside was keeping the temperature at an ideal level for the books, which had that mildewy smell unique to old paper.
Yeah. It makes you want to take a bite out of it.
I guess every library is basically the same.
If there was one difference, it was that people studying for tests weren't taking up all the seats. I was one of those people, but now that seemed like a distant memory.
Hello, I have books I'd like to return.
The librarian went through the process of checking them in, and then returned my mom's library card. Shion was going around the bookshelves with a deeply interested look on her face, like she wasn't the type who went to libraries very often. Ooh, calling out the reader directly again. Ooh.
It's not.
No, okay, listen, how is this not calling out the reader?
It's a metaphor for Shion being illiterate, okay? Jesus.
She's a country girl.
I didn't say it was a metaphor. I just said he's calling out the readers for not actually being very well read.
Every character is actually the reader.
Why is that? I think you just hate the reader.
No, I think the author hates the reader.
I think that's you,
man.
Why
would he hate the reader?
The author hates the reader, trust me.
I think that's some self-deprecation shit.
I legitimately cannot wait until we get to the final arc and Tej has gone completely off the deep end to Keiichi maxing.
No, I'm right though, that's the difference.
He is kind of Keiichi with this right now.
No, I'm right!
Keiichi core.
I'm right!
Keiichi core.
You guys you're not thinking about it with love, it cannot be seen!
You're advocating for hate against the reader. How is that thinking with love?
Because without hate, there can be no love. You fool!
What is that even mean?
Not how it works.
That's how it works. Anyway, just read the line.
Anyway, that little bug on the chalkboard is awesome. I love him.
Yeah, I noticed.
I love him a lot.
He's
awesome.
Yeah, look at the bug. Let's look at the bug, guys.
The bug is actually a metaphor for the reader being like a stupid
No, the bug is
idiot.
a metaphor for Shion, because you see there's like the green part.
No,
there's green.
It's a metaphor for the reader because the reader's like a fly on the wall.
Yeah,
the reader can be squashed by Ryukishi's.
They're Keiichi's personal fly, yeah.
Personal fly.
Libraries sure are nice and cool, aren't they? I went to work in a library one day.
I don't know whether to call that boring or dependable. It's a pretty small dream compared to your sister.
Jesus Christ, Keiichi, stop comparing Shion to other women. Holy shit. No tact.
Mian would definitely want to be a hard-working employee for an international trading company, or some other crazy job that involved her running all around the world.
I bet Mian wants to commit wire fraud.
I like how Keiichi's just completely forgotten about, they could just look like each other if they put on each other's clothes. And it's just like, yeah, I can make all these comparisons. Literally the only difference is that one of them is tied up and the other one is let down. That's it. That's the difference in their hair.
But an attentive reader might also see, based on the last line, that Sonozaki is an anagram of Bezos.
No, it isn't! That's not a metaphor either!
Okay, well, you countered what I was gonna say before I even said it.
It's subtext.
I knew you were gonna say it.
Subtext.
There you go. You can say it's subtext. Don't say it.
I can't believe Mian is transitioning into being Bezos. Damn.
It's not a simile either, or a smiley, as I like to call them. Compared to that, what Shion said is pretty.
It could be alliteration, though.
No. No, it's not. Well, we need to keep
pretty good rhyme.
Did you know that Shion is a palindrome?
It's a palindrome.
Oh yeah, it's the same backwards.
Because they're twins.
Oh yeah, that is the poetic device of repetition. You're right.
Well, we need to keep our differences dear to us.
And that's personification.
No, it's not.
Look,
we need to keep
new
the differences between our literary devices dear to us.
Look,
We're
new
not
theory. If you
copies
shift
of other literary devices. We're two different people called Shion and Mion.
Oh, that's simile.
If you shift every letter in Shion's name up one letter in the alphabet, it means fucking nothing.
That's true! Okay, wait, I think Sagi can actually solve Higurashi. Good job.
I think I've already solved it. I think that's it.
That's
Done
it.
and dusted.
Yeah, we don't even think about the mysterious deaths. That's the mystery. It's done.
Well,
It's
if you
all
shift
What
the word
deaths? There are no mysterious deaths.
all up
There
by
have been
one
no
in the
deaths.
alphabet, it also means nothing.
done. Okay, anyway, read the line.
Right. Twins have a lot to think about, huh? So, it sounds like fun. I don't have any brothers, so there's just me and my parents at the house. It can get a little uncomfortable.
I don't have any brothers, but what if he had a secret brother called Ichike?
But he has a sister.
That's an anecdote.
That's an onomatopoeia.
It's actually onomatopoeia.
That's an alliteration.
We already said that one. Sorry.
Oh, god damn it, I didn't hear it.
It's the same for me.
It's okay, it's
I
just
don't live with
assonance
Mion,
anyway.
After all. Oh, right. She said something like that, didn't she? Why, though? See? The author's bringing it up! Sisters living apart is unusual. I'm not crazy, you're all crazy. We were tired of
Famous Teichi-kun's final words.
We were talking
Really
while we
is.
were walking. We ended up going to the lounge area. Wait, sorry. We were getting tired of talking while we were walking. We ended up going to the lounge area, which was vacant, and continuing the conversation.
Actually,
Oh my God,
Ryukishi's saying that
That's an
the
incredible
readers are too
symbolism.
stupid to chew gum while walking.
That's incredible symbolism.
No.
It's actually euphony.
It's...
Did you know that ahahaha is actually a palindrome?
Oh, it is!
That one actually is. That doesn't work, Grumble.
Did you know it's a synonym?
That was the joke, that it actually was.
Yeah, but like.
Oh, and
it's
that
not
was a
funny if
rhetorical
it's
question.
true.
I
It's
see.
only funny if it spreads misinformation.
But what if it, like, distracts from everything else? Isn't that, like, basically misinformation?
That's an oxymoron.
I mean,
Mhm.
okay, well, this is just repeated information again, so...
Yes, it's the poetic
Yes.
device of repetition.
Mion lives at the main house, and I live in Okinomiya. Really? I've never heard this before.
What do you mean by main house? Enjambment? You make it sound like you're nobility.
Almost as if she was nobility. It's just the main house. The Sonozaki family's main house. Mion's the successor. See? I knew it! Okay, that one was obvious, though. So she lives
What?
with Nana. I did say at some point that Mion is probably an heir of some kind.
Heiress, thank you very much.
Heiress, whatever.
They also already
Heir
said
is
it.
gender neutral as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, the Sonozaki family's main house. Mion's the successor, so she lives with Nana and apparently studies all sorts of things as preparation to be the head of the family.
Such as Western
Heir?
board games.
Heir only applies if you have penis privileges.
There's heir, heiress, and theris.
I still say that era is just general neutral, and if it's not, it should be. It just works. Anyway. It kind of fit her personality, but kind of didn't, too. Kei-chan, you just moved here, right? This will sound like I'm boasting, but we of the Sonozaki family are kind of personages around here.
No? Seriously?
The word personage didn't match up the extremely sociable air that Mion and Shion gave off. What?
The extremely sociable heiress, you mean?
No, no, that's not what I mean. From what Shion explained, the Sonozaki family goes way back to the beginnings of Hinamizawa. After the war, they had a bunch of successful ventures, like that canned flush thing, and extended their influence to a wide area.
I told you they're Bezos.
That's a cool city.
All the employees that take bathroom breaks get turned into canned flesh.
Oh, I get it. The Sonozaki house is a foundation under which the entire family cooperates. I don't think Amazon was even really a thing when this was written. Though the current family head, Grandma, was the one who built it.
Because it's an origin story, duh.
Shut up! The entire family would provide backup to help one relative with a business venture. They were like a huge living company. This let them avoid
It was sort of like a jungle of company, like some kind of Amazon.
This let them
It was
avoid
quite a lethal company.
This let them avoid tax-related problems and help relatives' ventures succeed one after the other using large amounts of money. La la la! I can't hear you.
Tax
la,
evasion.
La, 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 la. If you ever go through
Avoiding
a walk through
tax-related
Okinomiya,
problems.
pay attention to the signboards and stuff. And there's a ton of shops that are managed by members of the Sonozaki family.
Now that you mention it, that toy store looked like it was managed by relatives as well. Does that mean your relatives operate Angel Mart too?
Even what few shops I was familiar with were involved with the Sonozaki family. It was definitely surprising.
Does the Sonozaki family manufacture the pork bone ramen that you eat?
Ooh. The family is particularly strong in finance and real estate. Even a lot of the members of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry either have the last name Sonozaki or are their relatives. There are Sonozakis in the City Council and the Prefectural Assembly too, since they have the Okinomiya area giving them strong electoral support.
It's almost like a Yakuza 0. Wait a minute. This is all escalating pretty quickly.
Her relatives operate shops in downtown Okinomiya, and they're especially strong in finance and real estate? On top of that, a lot of those in the Chamber of Commerce and Industry are relatives, and there are even people elected to local offices.
So then, this Sonozaki family, it's pretty famous in this area?
Fuck off!
Yes! It's crazy!
Fuck off! Get out of here! Get out!
Wait, what? How did you get to the police station?
We're not
This
in
is the library.
This is the library.
Oh.
Hey kid, check it out. I'm caked up.
Also, remember when you guys were making fun of me for saying he was old and fat last time? Because all of a sudden, a cigarette-smoking, overweight old man interrupted our conversation.
Were we not just gaslighting you?
Hate.
Yeah?
What have you learned in Onikakushi? Do you think Keiichi is actually to be trusted?
Okay, so he's
His
actually...
perspective is canonically just proven completely wrong.
Okay, so what you're saying is Ooishi is a fit, straight-edge...
Young man.
Young
who doesn't smoke cigarettes. Does that remind you of anyone?
So he's Mion.
Does that remind you of anyone?
He's Mion.
Mion is not straight edge.
No,
in what world?
He's Rena. He's Rika.
How?
Oh, so cute. I want to take you
I wonder.
home.
I wonder.
All of it. Anyway, so this cigarette smoking
That's what Ooishi says in the department, twerk off.
I don't think when they said that people are their opposites, they literally meant... I think they meant the personality. I don't think Ooishi is a
Rena was
small
confessing
girl.
to being...
I don't know, I think smoking cigarettes is a personality.
Oh, okay. So what's the opposite of smoking cigarettes?
Drinking beer?
Being oiled up.
Shut
up.
Porking.
Yeah, true.
Wait, I know this guy.
Inhaling air.
Hello. Good afternoon. Are you on a date today? What I would give to be young again. I could really throw it back then.
If you thought you were on a date, then why are you bothering us? Ooishi-san. That was it. He was Ooishi-san, a police officer. I thought it was this person who came to my rescue when I got involved with those delinquents before. Now that I thought about it, Mion didn't seem to like him very much. I wonder why that is.
No, I apologize. I heard a familiar voice, so I came over to see.
Ooishi-san laughed coarsely, not showing any sign of giving up. As Michion watched him do so, I didn't feel the same sense of malice from her as I had from Mion.
Maibara-san, right? You're one tough guy. Two-timing the Sonozaki sisters, are you?
No, I'm not two-timing anyone.
But you kind of are. I turned around to look at Shion and plead for help, but she grinned and maintained her silence. Her gaze wandered. She looked at the clock. I'm sorry, Kei-chan. I really need to get to my job.
Huh? Oh, did you?
Wait, didn't Shion have something to talk about today? Now this weird man is here, though. Yep, I'll see you later. Oh, I think I'll give you a call after I'm done. It'll be okay to call at night, right?
Yeah, probably okay.
Then I'll talk to you later tonight. Bye. Shion left so fast she was practically running. It was almost as if
she truly booked it out the library.
Ooishi-san was waving at me with a grin, and I wanted
This
to
is a
punch his
metaphor.
teeth out.
This is a metaphor about how Ooishi is happy with the situation.
I'm scared of this man. I felt like I'd been left here as bait so she could get away. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. I think this is the smartest thing Keiichi said so far. Maybe she was lying about having to go to work. You think? You think, Keiichi?
You're quite the big shot, being so close to the Sonozaki daughters. Maybe I should rethink how I talk to you, too.
That's your time to be a big shot.
Ooishi-san put a coin into a vending machine, as he said something a bit appalling. Oh, God.
Is iced tea okay with you? Do you want milk in it?
That is pretty appalling, actually.
That is
Who
appalling!
the fuck puts milk in iced tea?
I do.
Okay,
You're
I'm gonna
appalling.
take you out back. Alright.
Huh?
I'm making
never
out an
played Tetris.
opinion.
No, I
I'll
also
put
think
some in then, alright?
tea with milk. It's
Here
pretty
you
common
are.
here.
He handed me a cup of tea, filled to the brim with ice, as I looked absent-mindedly. I don't think I'm obligated to have a guy like this buy me a drink, but he did get it for me, so I'll thank him. Was Ooishi-san just killing time? We didn't know each other well, but he still engaged me in conversation about all sorts of dumb things. When I thought back to how I talked with Shion, this seemed like a total disaster.
Maibara-san, how much do you know about Sonozaki-san?
Other than what I just heard right now, nothing.
Until then, I hadn't known anything about either Mion or Shion, other than the fact that they were interesting.
That's incredible use of irony.
I really did only just learn that she was the daughter of some prestigious family.
The Sonozakis are a Yakuza group with this entire region under their thumb. Plus, her father is a high-ranked executive in the Yakuza Association. Did you know that?
What? An executive?
Yeah, that means he executes people. Have you ever seen where Shion-san lives? It's the very picture of a gang boss's house, protected by high walls, barbed wire fence, and security cameras. If you have the chance, you should go and visit her.
She'd mentioned Mion being a successor, but to a Yakuza group?
Oh, no. Not at all. The boring old Yakuza group isn't the only thing Mion Sonozaki will inherit. She's inheriting the Sonozaki family itself. I'll leave it to you to mull over what exactly that means.
Well, thanks for leaving it to me. I appreciate it. Ooishi-san had spoken lightly about all this from start to finish, but what he was saying wasn't light in the least. It was abrupt and unbelievable, which was a metaphor for how it was abrupt and unbelievable.
If Mion-san wanted to, she could kill someone in the middle of the street and still cover it up. Not only would witnesses not show up, but she'd put pressure on the police, too.
I mean, Mion would never kill someone.
She wouldn't. I'm just speaking hypothetically.
That's a very loaded hypothetical.
Your name, it's Ooishi-san, right?
Yes, that's right.
Then, Ooishi-san, whatever family Mion comes from, it doesn't change the fact that she's the best friend I could ever have, and I'm proud of that. I don't appreciate people speaking ill of her.
I do like the idea of like a cop walking up to a kid and it's like, hey, your friend could kill someone and get away with it.
You should walk up to a cop and say that, IRL.
Okay, I'm gonna make a prediction just based on this line alone. Keiichi's biggest mistake this chapter, besides the light switch thing, is that he's actually too trusting of his friends this time. That's my prediction. There needs to be a middle ground if he's gonna...
Like, kind of like the opposite mistake of last time?
Yes, exactly. Last time he didn't trust anyone, and now he's going to trust everyone no matter what happens.
Keiichi, did you know that birds are actually government drones?
It also feels like his relationship with Ooishi is already different. I let my quiet anger show through in my gaze as I stared at him. Of course, I can never seem to tell what he's thinking, so I didn't know if it had any effect.
Then let me be frank. If Mion-san was suspected of a handful of incidents, what would you think?
Suspected? Incidents? You can't
This
just
is
say
a Toho
terrible
reference.
stuff like that on a whim.
Nice.
Then it would be a misunderstanding, of course. Mion might say some dangerous things, but she's not the kind of person who would do something so awful.
Maebara-san, keep your voice down. We're in a library, and your friend defecated through a sunroof.
What? Mion would never do that! Ooishi shushed
What?
me, but in a state of heightened excitement as I was,
Yeah, can you
I
repeat
wouldn't be
that?
calmed so easily. Yeah, could you please repeat that for the class?
Well, what, the defecated through a
Yes.
sunroof line?
That one.
You think this is bad?
When's
This
there a guy
chicanery?
making an
It's
Albert?
chicanery!
Into that?
She orchestrated it! Please, calm down. As I said before, the Sonozaki family holds a lot of power in this region, for better or worse. So if anything happens, they would immediately be suspect. I'd appreciate it if you understood that.
Well,
You telling me a man just happens to burns like that? No. She orchestrated it. Mion. She
Well-
defecated through a sunroof.
and no, it was on fire, so like it landed on the victim, and then they
The
fell
fire!
and then they fell into an unrelated oil drum, and then the poop
Not
disappeared.
Shion. Not our precious Shion.
No, but like then the poop like disappeared, like it just vanished, and that's why it wasn't
What?
in there.
She took a flaming
Oh right, I
shit.
totally I forgot to mention, Soggy. They found a body somewhere. They didn't really say exactly where.
Outside the prefecture, in an oil barrel that was unmarked,
And it was
burned to a crisp.
completely burnt.
Oh,
Not burned to a crisp, golden brown.
He said it
I
was
was there for
blackened,
that.
though. Oh, you were. Never mind.
Yeah.
Combining
I was
it
right
with what
before I had to
Shion
leave.
told me before, the Sonozaki family is huge and controls everything from Hinamizawa to Okinonomiya.
Oh yeah, by the way, Soggy, you missed the entire bit where we entered the storehouse.
Oh yeah, by the way, Soggy, you missed the bit where we started the chapter. Neon, meanwhile...
It was this chapter called Onikakushi.
No.
I was here to voice like one Satoko line, and that's all I got.
Mion, meanwhile, is its successor, who apparently holds strong influence over the entire family. Still, That's all? That's the only reason they're suspecting her?
I'm just doing my job here. Not to doubt Mion's-san of anything, but to clear up suspicions surrounding her. Please think of it like that.
He could talk a dog out of a meat truck. He was the definition of a shrewd, unfair adult. At this point, I began to think that it was no coincidence I'd met him.
Ooishi-san, do you need something from me?
Yes, I do. Keiichi Maebara-san. I need you to watch me throw it back.
He answered in an absent tone of voice.
Mion's being suspected of something, and you came to hear from a friend of hers. Me. Is that it?
No, that isn't it. I didn't come here to talk to a friend of Mion Sonozaki-san. I came here to talk to Keiichi Maebara-san. It would probably have bothered you had I visited your house.
Me? What does the police want with me?
Having realized this faked coincidental meeting had me as its target, my mood immediately turned foul. As did mine. This new
You don't
Ooishi
need to be
scares
so
me.
tense. Calm down and just answer a few questions. I promise, I won't engage in a situation that'll allow me to convict you of drinking and driving.
Am I being questioned?
Let's call it a chat with a guy you happen to run into.
Ooishi-san freely suggested that I relax. That said, behind his eyes was a light, which I could only see sometimes, that was as sharp as a hawk. If I tried in vain to run away, he might actually take me in and bring me to an interrogation room or something. That was an undoubtedly unpleasant thought.
You had a rolling good time at the Watanagashi festival last night, didn't you?
Don't beat around the bush, please. I can't do small talk right now.
Last night, during the festival, did you see Jiro Toмотake-san and Mio Takano-san?
Well, I could finally feel myself give a start.
Where did I put those pictures? Oh, here they are.
Yes, my graphic death scene pictures.
Ah, yes, my own naked body.
He opened a small notebook and removed 2 photographs. I didn't
These
have
are my
to-
ass cheeks.
Well, who knows? I might have seen them around and don't remember.
I was asked the same question for the second time today. I gave the same answer for the second time, too.
Your memories are blurry? You couldn't possibly have been drinking or anything.
Here, too, I got the same answer as I had from Mion. I realized he wasn't taking my vague reply well. Why is he asking me the same thing Mion did?
When you think about it, the only real difference between Ooishi and Mion is that one has their hair up and the other has their hair let down.
No! No! That is not the only difference!
Yeah,
The
they
difference
are
is that-
wearing different clothes.
My bad.
One of them has
Mion
a beer
can't-
belly!
Mion can't throw it back as well.
Listen, I just need to
Mion
remind
was
you guys.
hungover, thus drinks beer, thus beer
Yes,
belly.
Yes.
I just
Yeah.
need you guys to remember that this is what Oishi's tummy looks like in the original story.
Yeah?
Please tell me again that that is Mion.
Okay, well, both of them are wearing suspenders. And
Both of them have gun.
Oh, I see.
yeah, both of them have gun, and that's why the belly's so big. 'Cause it's actually not his belly.
Oh.
He's just hiding the
He's-
guns under
he's
his
storing
coat.
like 50. He's storing like 50 guns. And
It
that's
doesn't
why
have to
his
be
belly's
50
so-
guns. It's
That's
just
why
like,
it's tucked in too. That's why his shirt's tucked
Oh,
it's a draw.
it's definitely not because he's wearing suspenders and not tucking it in would be goofy as fuck. The dark feelings I had nearly forgotten due to my conversation with Shion came rushing back in a hurry. We snuck into the sacred ritual storehouse, a punishable act. It was on a tiny impulse. Well, it may not count for much now. I do feel sorry about it.
Sorry. I'll ask you again. Did you see Jiro Toмотake-san and Mio Takano-san at the festival last night?
I don't like this, Ooishi. Can we get a new one? His tone was soft, but there was a dreadfulness in his voice, clearly different from the first time he asked. I'm scared. Me too, Keiichi! That was exactly how I felt. This is a metaphor for the fact that Keiichi is scared.
Even if you repeat the question, my answer won't change.
I don't really remember. There wasn't any better answer I could give him. I didn't have the balls to say that I didn't see them, nor the courage to admit I had.
I see. I just thought that maybe I'd get a different answer if I asked a second time.
Hey, that's weird. Your alter ego said the same thing.
It's almost like
the Moishi theory
the
is
same person.
But wait, Grumble, did you just say almost like? Because I think there's a different pair of words you could use there.
Almost as if.
It was as if you could
It
use
was
a
as
different
if. I'm too scared to look Ooishi-san in the eyes. When are we gonna get Ooishi with the eyes?
I'll change the question. Come, Maebara-san. Relax, relax.
Why is he close? I don't like this.
He's sitting in your lap.
Ooishi-san grabbed my shoulders and squeezed them, as if trying to give me a massage. It mostly just hurt, though. Still, why would he ask the same things as Mion? If he's asking the same things, then the next question must be...
On the same night of the festival, did you see Shion Sonozaki-san?
Clatter, clatter, clatter. I wonder what sound that was, and when I looked down, I saw that it was the unmelted ice in the cup I was gripping in my hands.
Death grips?
My hands were trembling, rocking the ice back and
Jesus Christ.
forth. Realizing that, I hastily put the remaining ice in my mouth and crunched down on it. Okay, so...
Crunch, crunch! That's a reference!
Keiichi is confirmed ice eater. I don't know where that fits into, like, the murders, but...
I think that just solves the murders. That's the reason why.
Yeah, I guess if we see any ice that mysteriously disappears from the crime scene, we know why.
Sorry, crunch crunch. I may have seen her, but, well, you know, she looks just like Mion. I might just have mistaken the two.
But that can't be.
Oh
Hey,
no! Suddenly, Ooishi-san grabbed both my shoulders and hunched down to give me a level stare. This must be what it's like to be a deer in the headlights. This is a metaphor for how Keiichi is scared.
How Keiichi turned into a deer like an animal.
Okay, you can't even argue with me on that one. You could be like, but it's just simile. Shut up, it's the same thing. I want to look away, but I can't. This is the first time I've experienced such a piercing stare.
Mion-san and Shion-san wear completely different clothing. You wouldn't mistake the two so easily, I would think. Maebara-san.
His voice was harsh. Harsh. The same as when Mion said it.
I'm sorry, Ooishi-san. I only saw them without their clothes on.
Oh, we could have burned him with that. I could feel my heartbeat quickening. When I realized he could feel it through the hands on my shoulders, I got even more scared. Why are Mion and Ooishi-san both asking about last night?
In that case, Maebara-san, then you should be able to tell the difference by taste.
No! Stop! Was sneaking into that storehouse so bad? Ugh. What do you think, Keiichi? What do you think? I shouldn't have let Takano-san talk me into it. Yeah, no, duh. Too late now, though. Toмотake-san casually said to check it out, too, so...
Perfectly normal Toмотake.
Even Shion, If she hadn't encouraged me... No, I understood. I was the one most at fault here. I shouldn't have let my curiosity get the better of me. I shouldn't have gone into the forbidden storehouse. Hey, okay, well, there's some self-reflection going on. Good job, Cage.
He's owning up to his mistakes? Crazy.
He literally never did that once in Onakakushi. Whoa, Komagai is real!
It's the bear!
Guy.
It's the bear!
It's purple guy. Ooishi-san. I think that's our cue to get out of here.
A young man wearing a suit came into the lounge. From the way he held himself, I immediately knew that he was Ooishi-san's subordinate.
He must have actually been an old woman in reality.
Komagai is actually much taller, though. Wow.
Hmm? Oh, so it is. Closing time already.
I hadn't realized it until he said something. The jingle and announcement telling patrons the library had closed had started playing without me realizing it. I was so irritated, so overwhelmed, that I couldn't even hear it. Also, he's hearing cicadas even though the library is, like, soundproofed. Like, he specifically mentioned that he wasn't able to hear cicadas when he closed the door, right?
The cicadas are coming from inside the library.
Why can he hear the cicadas
Kind of like
clearly
Five Nights
right
at
now?
Freddy's when you think about it.
You
We
see,
can't even trust
the
what this dude
cicadas
hears.
are a metaphor.
Yeah.
They probably
taking a
are a
shit.
metaphor.
They're a
So
metaphor
that doesn't even work against me. They probably are. Anyway,
Yeah, what are they a metaphor for?
I don't care.
bugs.
Well then, my Butterkun. We're out of time, so allow me to take my leave. I'd like to talk with you once more about this at your leisure, when we have more time.
This isn't a joke. If I never saw him again, it would be too soon. Quite a different attitude we're taking here, this chapter.
Overcorrecting.
Ooishi-san followed his subordinate and left the lounge behind him. However, he spun back around.
Just one more thing.
Oh right, my Buttersan. Just one more thing.
What is it?
Those two questions I asked you before. You don't remember well enough to answer either of them, correct?
Right.
Just so you know, you saw them all yesterday. You were walking along, the four of you having quite a pleasant time. Near the stone steps. I saw you with my own eyes.
Okay, so now he's just fucking with Keiichi. That's awesome.
Ugh.
I caught my breath, and my heart seemed like it was about to stop. What a detestable person. He knew, and he was testing me.
We'll meet again. Have a good year.
I sat there like a rock, unmoving, until I could no longer hear the clacking sounds of their footsteps.
Well, that's a metaphor, because rocks are unmoving.
That's a metaphor for
That's
Keiichi
more like
actually
a
being
simile.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
It's more like a simile, actually.
Because they use
It's a metaphor for Keiichi being dumb as a rock.
Alright, we are over time now, so that'll
Dumb as
probably
a
be our
rock.
last one.
Or dumb as
Yeah,
rocks.
that's a decent place to end off.
Yeah, we're getting off the rails anyway.
Yeah.
Like we've been for
We've
a
been
while.
posting out metaphors for a while.
There was no tips, by the way. That's scary.
We had
That
three
wasn't the
tips
end of a
earlier.
chapter. That wasn't the end of a chapter.
Yeah.
It wasn't?
Yeah, see?
Oh, okay.
One other thing I want to add as well, like, you were mentioning the whole bits of Toмотake just constantly being described as, like, super normal, and that reminds me of one specific, creepypasta I remember reading a while back, where the dude meets this one guy who's so normal that he starts to just view everything else with disgust.
Isn't that the plot of a visual novel? I don't remember what the name is. But, like, it's the one where he has sex with the...
You're thinking of Saya no Uta, and that's
Yeah,
for a different reason. It's not because Saya is normal. It's because Saya is not normal, and he has fucked up vision that was caused by reasons
or whatever.
Yeah, maybe I'll grab the link to it sometime and post it. The creepypasta, not Saya no Uta.
Yeah, I know what Saya no Uta is. Thank you.
Maybe I'll grab the link to that and post it as well.
I'm gonna be honest, I personally haven't read it myself, but the synopsis is kinda...
It's extremely fucked up. It's
yeah,
fucked
obviously.
up, it's hilarious.
I mean, the premise is literally... I'm not gonna say the premise. If you want to know the premise of
I'm
Sayaka,
recording.
Google. I'm gonna stop recording now before I say something bad. Goodbye. Goodbye, you two. Bye. Have fun. Don't
Goodbye
look up
forever.
Sayaka on Google.